feeling like I'm Akademiks.
Let's go to these other tweets, my people. All right, I'm on King Akademiks page. Let's look at all of the... I want to see some polls, man. Pause on that, but no Diddy on that. No Diddy on that. Seen some polls? Oh, shit. Pause. Shit. Anyway, okay. The AUSA says, what is this? She says, this is the email between me and Sean. The AUSA says, what did you call him? She said, I called him Pop-Pop. Why did you call him Pop-Pop? He asked me what I call my grandfather. I did it, but now I think it was disrespectful. Wait, was she calling Diddy Pop-Pop? And they're saying, why you call him Pop-Pop? And he wanted whatever endearing term she had for her grandfather. That's weird now. If you ask a girl to call you the same thing they call her grandfather, that's crazy. That is a little bit crazy. I ain't gonna lie. That's some other shit. Diddy, you were tweaking, bro. Is Diddy I can't wait till everybody comes out of court to tell us. Is Diddy's kids in the I would love to see what's Diddy's daughter's reaction to this. They're watching a pregnant woman crying on the stand, talking about what their father did, and even some of these things where they're like, "Yo, he wanted me to call him Pop Pop because that's my grandfather, and I call my grandfather Pop Pop." The AUSA says, what did you write? I really need to fuck. So it looked like she wrote an email to Diddy. I don't know why they were emailing. AUSA says, why did you write that? Ventura says, I wrote that because I wanted to be with him. AUSA says, I'll read your message. I'll read your message. You read yours. What? So I'll read Sean's message. So Sean says, so this is Diddy. You don't want to do anymore? I guess they might be talking about Freakoffs. Ventura then reads her own email messages or correspondence to Diddy at the time saying, I'm so predictable. So it looked like because they know Diddy, what the prosecutor's doing, chat, they know that Diddy's lawyers is going to eat Cassie alive. On that stand, when they get to, Shorty, stop the capping. You were loving this shit and you never wanted to stop. Be honest, right? So they're putting out something that we didn't even know was there. This is going to hurt them, but they have to address it now. So there was a message between Cassie and Diddy that clearly Diddy has, because everybody gets everything in Discovery, that Diddy is asking Cassie, you don't want to do the Freakoffs no more? And Cassie seemingly, we didn't get to it yet, but she seemingly is not going to say a strong no. She already gave the pre-answer by saying, I don't want him to do it with another woman, so I never really said, let's stop it. But you know when Diddy's lawyers get up there, all 9 of them, they might stand all at once. Bitch, stop fucking playing. Didn't the nigga ask you if you want to stop sucking them escorts dicks and you said, nah, you like it? Stop playing. So they're going to be on her ass. So they're trying to do some counter shit. Okay. Ooh, this is getting juicy right here. Pause. And also, they're addressing this idea she introduced sometimes having sex. She would message him, I really need to fuck. Now, she's saying, and this is, again, we're not in court, so we got to parse how we kind of look at these things and kind of like we got to use some like common sense. When they say, why did you write that? It says, because I wanted to be with him. I'm wondering if she's taken the angle of, hey, at times I would just throw the idea of sex because he was a sex addict and he loved the free. I would throw it out because I just wanted to be around him. I've heard that sometimes. Like a girl would be like, yeah, no, you ignore me you ignore me until I ask you to fuck. You know what I mean? Like one of them ones, one of them ones like, yo, you ignore everything I say until I say, yo, I'm horny. Then you're like, what up? Where you at? So I think maybe that's what they're trying to get to, right? To say, even though you're offering sex, the real reason you were doing is because you just wanted to be with him. It's not that you wanted the freak off, but it was the way for you to be with him. Okay? So now, again, hopefully it's an update. Chat, am I lying? Yo, Creeper Gaming, I'm lying? Come on, you don't know one of them ones? You know one of them ones. You know you got that super eater in your phone. The super eater that want to be more than an eater. And you ignore every message she sends you until she says, yo, I'm horny. And she sends you a naked picture. And you respond mad quick. WYA. It's time for the eater to clock in. She tell you all type of shit. She be texting you left on red, left on red, left on red. That one message, I'm horny. Titty pictures. WIA. I'm telling you, man, one of them ones still. Everybody knows it. Stop playing. Come on. We gonna have to add, you gotta add some brain power to this shit to understand what's going on. And I'm telling you, chill. All right. Okay, cool. Let's get to it. She says, so now the AUSA, I think they're back in their voice. They said, what do you think this meant? That he knew I didn't want to do the Freakoffs anymore, but then I backpedaled. So you catch it, right? You catch it. So essentially, and this is what I'm saying, the defense is going to have a field day chat. They asked Cassie, you don't want to do this no more. And she doesn't say no. She actually backpedals. Diddy's defense team is going to use that to say, if he forced you, how the hell he give you mad different times to say no or leave? How? By the way, everything is going to be seen differently. When he would kick her out or when he would take stuff back from her, that's going to be seen as, did Sean not try to break it off with you? And yo ass love the lifestyle, love this, and you keep coming back. If you say this is against your will, why you ain't leave? If you claim you ain't want to do A, B, and C, why you ain't stop? Why you ain't tell him when he's asking you, do you want to stop? So you could tell they know the defense is about to drop 60 points on Cassie. So they're trying to they're at least trying to add some astroglide to the floor, at least a little bit of baby oil, you know what I mean? Okay, so cool. So she's admitting she feels like the sentiment, and by the way, I'm surprised they didn't object to this, but they did ask her what she thought it meant, right? She said, I thought by Diddy asking that, he knew I ain't want to do the Freakoffs no more. But I backpedaled. And then AUSA says, why? Well, I backpedaled to not make him angry. He could be violent. AUSA says, where'd you get your outfit? She says, pleasure chest. Pleasure chest. I feel like I've heard this before. Pleasure chest. Cassie, pleasure chest. I think maybe Roger Bonner, Gene Deal was always talking about like some of the places where Diddy would go go shopping. Gene Deal sex shop Diddy. He said he caught Diddy buying a butt plug. Who y'all think the butt plug was for? Cassie or him?
Story before about how y'all was in Atlanta and he was buying some toys. Can you elaborate on that, my man?
Oh my God, brother. Come on, man. Listen here, man. I know the fans want to hear some of his intimate secrets because he is a celebrity. He is a public figure and everything like that. And maybe I shouldn't be telling the business like that. But you know my motto, fuck them and feed them beans. You understand? We was in one of those X-rated stores where they buy toys, movies, and everything at. And this shit was just funny, man. So he's going around, they give him a bag. They give him a big bag when he come in that joint. They don't even want to know what he putting in the bag. I swear for a living God, I've never seen this before in my life. So he's going down the aisle and just getting stuff. I'm about 3-4 steps behind him. He going down the aisle getting stuff like that. So it was this rack that's set up by itself. You know what I'm saying? And he's at this rack and he was getting like 4, 5, he was just getting them like that. So I wasn't paying no attention to him at first, or like that. But then when I went to the rack said butt plugs. I said, hey, yo.
Oh, man.
I said, hey, yo. Fuck is you getting these for, man? And he said, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, I'll be at the door. You're right. So he came with this big ass bag, and he ain't even let the dude know what he had in there. He just gave the nigga a wad of money like this, and dude said, all right, cool, and walked out the store.
Damn. All right. Okay. AUSA says, did you get piercings? Ventura says, yes. Sean came with me. AUSA says, which of his homes did you have freakouts in? She says, Miami and New York. AUSA says, what about his other homes? Well, I did in my homes, all but Studio City. It looked like Studio City was her safe place. Remember, that was the one that she was paying for? And she said that she had that home because Diddy paid for the rest of her homes, and that was her safe place because she didn't want him to fully control everything about her, right? AUSA says, what about in other cities? She said Atlanta and Ibiza. Ain't there a song about Ibiza? I had a freak off in Ibiza. What song is that? I had a freak off in Ibiza. No, I took a pill in Ibiza, some shit like that, right? There's a song that, right? Took a pill in Ibiza. Damn, this shit might have been about Diddy. Yo, Mike Posner got to get called up to the stand next, nigga. What happened in Ibiza, nigga? What are you talking about? Holy shit, okay. All right. AUSA says, in what hotels in New York did you have freak-offs in? The Trump Hotel, Gramercy. AUSA says, Intercontinental? She says, yeah, 44th Street, yes. AUSA says, elsewhere? The Mondrian, Oriental, Fountain Blue. She says, what names were used? Jackie Starr. I used Frank Black. Oh, she used Jackie Starr, and Diddy was called Frank Black. Interesting. Frank White. Didn't they call Biggie that? Frank White. Why does Biggie call himself Frank White? Frequently referred to himself as the Black Frank White. His name was taken from a drug lord character played by Christopher Walken in the film King of New York. So the star of this film, King of New York, which, by the way, all plays into itself because Diddy considers himself King of New York, right? Frank White is the star and the infamous drug lord. Diddy's fake name to check in these hotels was Frank Black. Okay. And Jackie Starr, where can we see Jackie Starr? Jackie Starr. There was a porn star named Leela Starr, right? Leela Starr. I think. Yeah, there's a bitch named Leela Starr. Where did he make up that from? Jackie Starr. So we're either keeping the Jackie or the Star, and it probably some other famous person's name or fictional character. Somebody say he the freaky Frank White. Y'all know about Leela Starr? Biggie Smalls came from an old 70s movie? Oh, shit. Somebody says who? Kelly Starr? Somebody says Jackie Legs? What? Somebody said this is the freaky endgame. Somebody said the plug was Ja Rule. The plug were for Ja Rule. Y'all stop playing. Y'all think them plugs was Ja Rule, bro? Yo, Ja! Somebody call Ja!
Say, I know a lot of people want to hear these stories and everything. Just to clear the facts up what's going on. But it all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff and he's in the exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the the shelves and stuff like that, because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, he got to go put it on the counter and, show everybody what he's getting. So as he going, I'm just looking at the places where he picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I was like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said butt plugs. And I was like, hey, yo. I was messing with him. Because people don't understand, we was like friends. He was a part of the same gang. So I'm still gonna tease him. I'm still gonna mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I say, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. So when he got I just waited at the counter. So when he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like, he gave him.
One thing I say about this nigga Gene Deal, he's the master of telling the same story 4,000 times and never changing one detail. Like, he seems really believable. This nigga tells the same story 4,000 times, not one detail is ever changed in the story.
The guy stacked something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina. So later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together.
Oh, nah.
It's Sarah, the girl, Puff, and this dude, this rapper. So I'm here at the door and stuff like that, like, yeah. So then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff, they're in the room, they busy, they don't want to be bothered. He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bruh, you ain't going in there because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. And he was like, yo, I don't care, man, I'm going in there. That bull like that. I said, yo, bruh.
If Diddy traded out Ja Rule for a nice young tenderoni like Meek, Diddy might be the GOAT. Just like how you traded out Cassie for motherfucking Young Miami, Diddy might be the GOAT. He just keep trading them out. Hey, yo.
They're like, yeah, so then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff, they're in the room, they busy, they don't want to be bothered. He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bruh, you ain't going in there because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. And he was like, yo, I don't care, man, I'm going in there. That bull like that. I said, yo, bruh, Jesus Christ had to come down here and take the air out of my body before you get in that room right there. Watch. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed him and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room.
Bro, why somebody gonna say, you gargling the liquor? You just trying to show us how Cassie was gargling the piss. Yo, stop playing with me, man.
Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? Yo, G, that's my cousin. He know me well, and Puff was like, yo, G, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. And he was like,
Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on.
Wait, what?
Oh, yo, Jay, that's my cousin. He know me well. And Puff was like, yo, Jay, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. And he was like, Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on.
What would I do without my baby? Like, yo, imagine you at the door. All of a sudden, what would I do without my baby? Like, this shit was going crazy up in that room, right? I'm real. The way you walk, the way you talk. I'm real. Yo, Diddy, we gonna clap that. We gonna clap that. We gonna clap that. Yo, this shit was going crazy up in that room, chat. Holy. Yo, Diddy, we gonna clap that. Like, this shit was probably going crazy in there, huh? Yo, Diddy bringing out the butt plugs. Yo, Ja, guess what I got? Bro, wow. Yo. Oh, shit. Oh, no. I'm from New York. I got 100 butt plugs and clips. This ain't what you want, and I know. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry.
So I was like, oh, he said it was a lot of freaky going on. So that was basically that story, man. You know what I'm saying? They went back in the room. Dude felt a certain kind of way, and he left out. So I seen them at the concert the next day, and they tried to, form up against me. But my man Frank was like, I told my man Frank, I was like, yo, Frank, put yourself in that position. Somebody trying to get in the room, and Ja told you don't let nobody get in the room. What would you do? Now, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, man, but I ain't taking no losses.
Yo, Ja, what happened up in there? It's murder. Like, what's going on, bro? It's murder.
He said, yo, you good, and that was it.
We gonna clap back.
When Ja said, you don't want to come up in there, a lot of freaky stuff is going on. You got to use your mind. What they was doing with those butt plugs.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, that was real wild.
Nah, man. Nah, this is getting out of hand, chat. This is getting out of hand, bro. This is getting out of hand, chat. Okay, so she was going by the name Jackie Star. We back in court. The joke time is done. We're back to serious business, okay? We're the #1 news channel in the world, okay? Fuck CNN and ABC and shit like that. All right. What were the supplies for the Freakoffs? Astroglide, baby oil, condoms. He said, who brought the supplies? Security, Sean's assistants. What brand of baby oil? Johnson's & Johnson's. How was it used? Sean said, you need to be glistening. Were there freak-offs where you ran out of baby oil? The defense says, what the fuck? Objection. How is this relevant? AUSA says, and by the way, Your Honor says this is irrelevant. Okay. Looks like they move on. So you mentioned Astroglide. Defense says, same, objection, irrelevant. They're having a sidebar because, again, I think the AUSA is trying to hammer home these points of the details of the freak-off. And Diddy's team is like, whoa, why y'all got to get all into that? So the judge is, rather than have this guy do constant objections, they said, let's do a sidebar. Let's figure this out, and we're going to see. Now they're back. It says, we were talking about Astroglide. How was it used? Ventura says Astroglide was used as lubricant. If you ran out, what would happen? Ventura said, we'll call either the staff or the bell desk and give them a tip. AUSA says, were the freak-offs lit? What? Oh, my stupid ass. I'm thinking about like colloquial word like lit. Like, was it popping? No. Was there lights, right? Ventura says, initially it was a candle. A strong smelling candle. Glade. Okay. The Glade candle. Let me see. Glade candle. Okay. Astroglide, baby oil, condoms, butt plugs, candles. Okay. All right. We're getting to them. We're getting to it, chat. We are getting to it. Nah, these details are crazy, chat. These details are crazy. Where is Ja? Somebody call Ja. Yo, the idea of Ja Rule getting doused with baby oil and having to Harlem shake that shit off his body is crazy. I don't know. All right, done with that bottle. Okay. So we're at the point. By the way, it's just a time check. We're 2:30. We probably got 2 more hours of her being on the stand. You can see they're going through this really. They want fine-tuned details. Remember, we haven't gotten to. Well, we're not going to see videos, but they're not playing videos yet. They're just having her describe every single thing. Now, I don't. I wanted to hear what she was going to say if they ran out of baby oil. Looked like Diddy was very upset. If yo, y'all ran out of baby oil at the Freakoff? Nigga, it's like running out of food at the cookout. Like, no more baby oil at the Freakoff? What the fuck? So, we're going to see. Someone said, call 50. Has 50 commented? Yo, I know 50's watching this somewhere. Like, yo, ain't no fucking way, bro. Ain't no way. Somebody get Ja Rule on the lines. Look, it said, these is crazy. They said this was R. Kelly's first world tour. Hot dog. Holy shit. 50 going on another tour? This is crazy, huh, chat? All right, people, we waiting on the new tweets. If you guys do have questions, make sure you submit them via the platform you're watching on. Shout out to Rumble. Shout out to Kick. By the way, you guys hang around. I think I'm going to do an extra hour on Kick later on, so just keep it cool, keep it calm. Y'all know every time I talk about R. Kelly.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your
This is the craziest recruitment sex trafficking video ever.
girl? Would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. Beautiful. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots?
This nigga was talking to these bitches like it was like a new puppy from you're adopting a new puppy. Do they have their shots?
Who wants to come back with us to America?
You know you a freaky ass boy where when you start going to other country to bag bitches and you gotta ask them, you got your shots? I'm coming back, Sean. I'm coming back. Pause. Nigga was winking at chicks in the crowd like every wink.
Frosty!
Fucking Friday edition. But that's the way we drink our De Leon tequila. Frosty, we get it ice cold. We go and put it in, you know, stack that in there. Ice cold. This is a Frosty right here. Keep this thing ice
This was when life was so good, huh?
cold right there. The orange slices, that's how we do our shots. Yeah.
Damn. He giving this nigga the manual. Give my boy Justin the manual.
Ooh. And we not telling y'all to drink. We just celebrating life. You know what I'm saying?
It's fucking Friday.
And it's fucking Friday. Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Orange.
Drink responsibly. Cheers.
Cheers.
With an orange though. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, by the way, you know, I've been kind of like, worried about the kids, right? Like his daughters, and I guess even sons, hearing about some of the explicit things that their father is being accused of. But you know what I started realizing? Wasn't Diddy also fucking the same girls as his kids? Like, Diddy really a wild boy. Didn't all of them supposedly hit, what's that chick name? Let me not even call her name before she, try to sue me. But, yeah, supposedly Diddy was smashing some of his kids' girlfriends anyway. So they probably knew that this nigga was a freaky frog. Right? Like, do you think they're in court like, oh my God, my dad was doing that? Like, or they were like, man, we know Daddy used to get down. Daddy was a nasty nigga. Do you think Diddy's kids looked at Diddy? I'm going to use a movie reference. I'm going to lose some of y'all. How old are y'all, some of y'all in here? I be forgetting how old my audience is now. I think I think my audience is early 20s. Like, on average. Do I still got teenagers who watch me? I don't know. I think all y'all grew up. Most of y'all grew up watching me. I got some 30-year-olds. I got some 40-year-olds. But I think like 20s, right? No, Friday after next. Y'all gonna know the freaky scene I'm talking about. This scene right here. This Diddy right here. This Diddy right here. Auntie Sugar. Friday after the next. There was a whole lot of freak shit going on.
All right.
Right here.
It's the Bombay.
Low key, this nigga was on some Diddy shit. He wanted Craig to fuck Auntie Sugar, you know, right?
Said ain't no gravity up there.
What numbers did you pick?
What's the other scene? There's another scene, the freaky joint. Yeah, she was freaky as a. Oh, right here. Remember this movie? Some of y'all too young for this. That's Diddy right there. That's Diddy right there. That's Diddy right there. That's Diddy. Freaky ass nigga. Wild King Night. Freak off time. Who remember this movie? Y'all remember this movie? If y'all remember this movie, name your favorite or most memorable one-liner from this movie. I know mine already. Actually, I'll use one. You can't use that. From this movie, the most notable line, no more locked doors. Okay, y'all got to pick another one. Pick another fucking line from this movie that's like epic. No more locked doors. See? Oh, man. Okay, y'all know my baby Joker. All right, chat. All right. Oh, yeah, baby D did fuck the carb. All right, cool. Let's get back to it, chat. Chat, once again, for people who are new to tuning in, I want you guys to all sub up, please. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following or subscribing or whatever. And also thank you to my chat niggas for keeping this show on the road. We're giving you a little bit of laughter, a little bit of comedy. We're not taking this case or this Cassandra Ventura's plight as a joke, but we're waiting for tweets. We're not in court. We're waiting for tweets. We're trying to give some context to some of these tweets. We're trying to also, this is what I can't do if I'm at the courthouse. I can't get to pull up a video that mentions something about what's mentioned in court, and we could just kind of have a 360 view. So just please understand that we're covering the case, but, from here to there, we might do a little 1-2, okay? All right. There should be some new tweets now. Let's get to it. All right. Okay, here we go. Now, it says, it said, initially it was candles, strong-smelling Glade. The AUSA says, any other use of candle wax? Ventura then says, a few times they poured it on my body. So it looked like they were into some freaky shit. You pour the hot candle wax on her body. AUSA says, who set the temperature of the room? She says, Sean. I was expected to do freak-offs on my period. Oh, my God. Yo, get me that one. I got to post this. This is like rage bait posted right here. Yo, I need, what do you call it again? I need memes. Send me this shit right here. My dog's upstairs crying like hoes. I'm going to give it some attention a little bit. Okay. Sean says, no. Ventura says, Sean set the temperature of the room. I was expected to do freak-offs on my period. Holy shit. That's kind of crazy. You know what kind of puzzles me about all this? Like, if Diddy, I don't think Diddy ever, do we think that Kim Porter did freak-offs? I don't think so. I'm wondering if Diddy maybe has this, like, you know, way of, and this is where, again, I need y'all to think out of the box. I need some real nigga, put your real nigga hat on. Put your real nigga hat on for a second and understand the point I'm trying to say or ask. Hearing some of the things that he subjected Cassie to, or he allowed Cassie to do, or Cassie wanted to do. Who knows at this point? We're going to figure it out. I'm wondering if Diddy, and I know we're like, this guy's a freaky ass nigga, but I wonder if he had a way to separate. Because, and this is why I said put your real nigga hats on, because men, we do separate. Not to this extent, but we do separate. We do separate. I'll give you a little story. Like, a chick I was with caught me cheating. I wasn't shit. Went through my phone, found the videos. I'm piping some bitch out. Right? Some hoe. After she done getting mad, you know what she says to me? She says, why don't you fuck me like them bitches in the videos in your phone? And I had to explain to her, I said, I don't give two fucks about them bitches. I actually like you. And that's like a different type of way as a man of how I fuck. I'm sorry. I know this is TMI, but I'm just trying to get you to, I'm getting to a point. Men, we could separate. Like the way you deal with a hoe is not how you deal with wifey. I know publicly Cassie was wifey, but the shit that, like, some of this stuff is just flat out nasty. Why would you want her to have unprotected sex during her period with a sex worker? Like, that's even nasty for you. Like, that's some nasty shit. I'm making an assumption here, but I don't think the mothers of his children he ever had do that. So maybe he was on some shit like, yo, I don't ever plan to have kids with this woman. I just want to smut her out. I'm Diddy. She's a bad bitch, but shit, I'm Diddy. So I'm going to just smut her out. Yeah, like, you know, she's linked to me publicly, but I'm just going to smut her out, but I'm never going to have a kid with her. Because even the Gina girl, he seems like, I know he has a bunch of kids, but I don't think he was looking at these women as we're going to build families together. These women were just sex objects for him. Do you get what I'm saying, Chad? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think that he would have Cassie do all this if he wanted to have children with her. I think he looked at her as a sex object because some of this shit is now flat out disgusting. Like, to me, that's disgusting. It's one thing you fucking your girl and she on her period. It's another thing you let a sex worker or multiple sex workers fuck her while she's on her period. That's nasty. Okay, some of y'all got it, some of y'all didn't. But so I'm wondering, I really think that he was looking at Cassie because, again, I do think he was abusive to all women, right? Kim Porter reportedly, he was abusive to her. But I don't think he had Kim Porter that freaked out, like on some, yo, fuck all my friends shit, or just do all type of, like, some of these things is like, once you get to that stage, you don't want to have kids with that person no more. Like, yeah, you'll fuck on her, but you don't want to have kids with her no more. Like, you know, at some point, y'all going to stop fucking around with each other. You're going to have to replace her. It's no way he was doing this and thinking, all right, one day I'm going to give her kids. And sometimes, and maybe Cassie or whoever, Gina was definitely saying that, Gina Hill. She was saying, I was getting down with whatever he wanted to do, hoping at a certain point, I even had 2 abortions for him, hoping that eventually he would make me his. And eventually he would want to have a child with me. I don't think Diddy really wanted to. Now, granted, I'm trying to read into his psyche. Maybe this guy is just a degenerate that wants to have kids with women that he is smutted out to the max. I don't know. And not to throw my man Adam 22 under the bus, but, obviously people like that do exist. Where, in chat, all my men in here, y'all know what I'm talking about. You get to a certain point with a chick, even if you fuck with her, once it start getting to that, you're like, all right, I'm gonna still fuck you, but we ain't doing a motherfucking thing but this. I'm wondering if Diddy really ever wanted, and I never hear Cassie talk about, and they were together for 10 years, like Diddy was trying to plan a family with her. It felt like he was looking at it like, you're young. And by the way, this is also a thing too. Shorty's young. She's probably not thinking about a child. She thinks that eventually you're going to give her a child or have a family with her. So she's just going through the moments. But really, you didn't plan. You're not trying to put a baby in her after you have 4,000 sex workers fuck her. Do I get what I'm saying? So I'm really trying to look at, to me, and I'm trying to just cover the case, but obviously we're giving some color commentary as well. To me, this is nasty. First of all, his whole kink is a little bit odd. But how you have your girl do a freak off on her period, how you let another nigga fuck your girl on her period? I understand you fuck your girl on her period, if that's what you into. But you're going to let random sex workers just fuck her on her period? Okay. We didn't end there. She says, Sean set the temperature of the room. I was expected to do freak offs on my period. AUSA says, well, did you want to do that? She says, no. AUSA then says, did you want to be urinated on? Defense says, objection. The judge says, what grounds? It says, asked and answered. It said, overruled. Cassie then says, I did not want to get urinated on. Now, that would be directly contrary to what the sex worker said. The sex worker, Philip, said, Cassie asked me if I've ever peed on someone and then instructed me to pee on her. So that's, again, these are things that I know the defense is going to go crazy and be like, hey, did you ever ask, they're going to ask her, did you ever ask someone to pee on you? Now, she might, in a slick way, say, yeah, I asked somebody to pee on me, but I didn't want to get peed on. I asked because Sean told me to ask, right? So, okay. Asked and answered, overruled, no, I did not want to. AUSA says, how did it feel? Ew, what the fuck? How did the pee feel? What type of questions are these? How did the piss feel? It was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it. So basically, she's saying the dude starts peeing on her, and he starts peeing in her mouth, and she starts choking. It's like some Guantanamo Bay waterboarding shit. They were waterboarding her ass with pee. Nah, this is crazy, man. This is crazy, child.
Seen it. Let's do that.
It's crazy, man.
No, it's not. Said that they had rap out of order. Everybody.
Hold on.
In my Escalade, man, I'm paid, I got it made. Take me to your special place. Close your eyes, show me your face. I'm gonna piss on it. Others wanna love, I don't even want none of the above. I want to piss on you. Yes, I do. I'll piss on you. I'll pee on you.
Trip. Anyway, okay. So she didn't want to get peed on, according to her. She said it felt disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted that. They said, why were you choking? Yo, they're getting in the details of this shit. Why were you choking, though? Why were you choking on the pee, the urine? It was too much urine. It was too much piss. Who else urinated on you? Sean. They were using her like a urinal, like a fucking porta potty. All right, everybody need to clear their bladder. All right, come on. Cassie, open up. Come on, line up. They were treating Cassie like the nearest bathroom to your terminal when anybody ever get on a long plane ride? When everybody get off that plane, that first bathroom, niggas is lined up ready to go take a piss. Yep, that was Cassie. All right, everybody line up. Cassie's getting pissed on today. Who else urinated on you? Sean. Did you want Sean to urinate on you? I didn't want nobody to urinate on me. AUSA says, how often did it happen? Often enough. Damn. So which hotel charged the most for the damage to the room? The Intercontinental in New York. They redecorated the whole room for ridiculous money. Back to the urine, man. Fuck all that. Back to the urine. Oh, shit. The AUSA is on it. Let's get back to the urine, man. Let's get back to the piss. Let's get back to the piss, man. The judge says, hey, Ms. Johnson, only a few more questions. Chill out now. Why did you say no to the piss? God damn. It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground. Oh, she was on the ground, being urinated on by two men. Where'd you find escorts? Initially, Craigslist. Now, I'm going to be honest here with you, chat, and I know some of y'all have seen, we're keeping it a little bit light here. Again, I don't want to make fun of this woman or her plight, and I do sympathize with her. As I'm reading this, and it feels sad. It feels sad, and I'm going to be honest with you, just me reading it, I know, there's a part of me that think Cassie was freaked out and she was into this shit. But maybe it's just the details, and I think that's why the AUSA is getting into the details. Bro, it feels sad. This woman is so desperate for acceptance by Diddy, she's so desperate to try to get a career in music. She's desperate to keep living this lifestyle. She's just sprawled out on the ground with her mouth open while two men just pee on her. That seems kind of sad, bro. The judge says we'll break here. I don't think that's for the rest of the day. I would imagine it might be a bathroom break or something like that. It feels sad, Chad. I ain't gonna lie. It feels sad. It do feel sad. Now, I'm not saying she's 100% right. I'm not saying she's definitely the victim. But just imagining that lifestyle where it's your whole life revolves around pleasing this man sexually. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to look at or to hope for. And I could imagine she was battling with those emotions over the years because she probably in 2006 when she got signed and then 2008 she starts fucking with him. She's having high hopes oh, nah, I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be like J-Lo. I'm going to be like this. And quickly she realizes that's done. You're never really going to pop off. You're going to be the glorified trophy wife or trophy girlfriend, because you're not a wife, of Sean Combs. And maybe she enjoys the red carpets. She wasn't a movie or a show or something like that. But primarily what she had to look forward to each week was these freaked out sex escapades with random dudes. She's getting peed on, nutted on. She's getting slapped up. She's, again, I know there is a side and an argument to say she was with it though. But it feels like a sad existence. That's what I would say. It feels like a sad existence. I see Young Charles in the chat. He said, actually, wanted that fame and the money. Nah, that's a part of it too. That's a part of it too. Somebody said 10 years. Don't let that cloud your judgment. She was with the shits. That's going to be the interesting part about it, right? When Diddy's lawyers take, or is their time to either definitely on cross, when they cross-examine her, they're going to make that point so crystal clear. You were with Diddy for 10 years. Did he not at multiple times offer that y'all could stop doing freakoffs? Did he not at multiple times saying y'all could be over? And this is going to be very often. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Because remember, Diddy's fucking with other women too. She was catching him too. He was catching her too. I'm pretty sure at times when she was wilding out on him, I'm pretty sure he told her, if you want to leave, leave. We could be done. Now, obviously, that's in a toxic relationship type of whatever, but they're probably going to bring up how many times Diddy allowed her to leave, because a part of this is them trying to say Cassie had no choice. She couldn't leave. She was financially controlled. She was physically threatened. And these are the things that coerced her to keep doing weekly freak-offs for a decade. Very, very crazy, man.
Goes, and I think
this is crazy. Hold on. I'm getting some more videos and shit for y'all.
However long I was being punished for. Thoughts?
Yes. Well, that's that.
King Buck, thank you for the 5 memberships to the Academy. Appreciate you, my boy.
Gets at it when she's being punished, right? She's in a relationship with Sean Combs. So you don't think even when there's a person who has a lot of staff because he's rich and famous, you don't think of them getting the staff involved in the domestic part. So the staff shouldn't be involved in punishing your girlfriend. And that gets you into sort of predicate act territory.
If you were the prosecution, should you dedicate just a full day to everybody who worked for Combs and helped him facilitate this alleged illegal activity? Do you just dedicate 1 or 2 days, just staff member, staff member, staff member, staff member?
So I don't know how I would do it exactly, but if I was prosecuting the case, I would try to build an org chart. I would try to build a demonstrative I could show the jury that would have Sean Combs on the top and lines that flow down to his various staff members. And then I would add to that demonstrative the specific things those various staff members did to Cassie or otherwise relevant in the case, and try to show that it all flowed down through this enterprise, through this organization.
We have a super chat question. Thank you so much from Get Lawyer, who everything was coerced and everything was against her will. Could 100% be true, but also may be difficult. I go back to what I said before. It's not a classic sex trafficking case where you have a shadowy organization who is kidnapping girls from another country, selling them off to somebody else. She testifies, explains what happens to her. She was trafficked. This is different, and I wonder if Get Right 904 Mike DeBeast's concerns are legitimate.
So
I think they are.
As I hear that question, they're asking, why should we care if the cross-examination goes hard? And if you have the views that question.
Now, chat. If you're wondering where I'm falling on things currently, again, I'm not in court, so I'm not really. Again, remember, she's crying. They already told you she's sobbing. That has profound impact that we can't read through the context of a tweet, through anything like that. It's going to make you look at things differently. And I even told you, I felt it was sad. And because it's sad, you want to almost agree with her, or you at least empathize with the pain that she's even feeling going through this again, or recounting it. I'm still leaning on the side that this is a consistent domestic abuser, that he put hands on her, whatever, but they were in a toxic relationship where she may have put hands on him. Now, what we haven't got to yet is, will the AUSA, again, remember, they're playing chess, so they know the move the defense is going to do when the defense gets Cassie. They said, Cassie, did you ever tell him no? And it's like, well, I wanted to tell him no, but I didn't tell him no. And they're addressing a text message or email where essentially she backpedals from saying she didn't want to do freak-offs anymore. What's probably also going to have to be addressed at some point is, did Cassandra Ventura also put her hands on Diddy? Now, granted, in how we talk about things in public opinion, for the most part, people don't care about women who hit men. Like, we don't care about supposedly the real true story with the Chris Brown and Rihanna thing. Is Rihanna went through his phone, seen some shit, started beating the shit out of him, and Chris Brown started hitting back. Obviously, a man is usually 2 to 3 times stronger than a woman, so I completely get all that. But sometimes, again, Diddy's admitting that he beat her or he's put hands on her. it might help contextualize this and just kind of drive home the point for Diddy and his lawyers. Their whole thing is saying, and they said this, if we were on trial for domestic abuse or domestic violence, assault, we would not be in a trial. We'd have pled guilty. Yes, he did hit her from time to time. Sexual, sex trafficking and a RICO for sex trafficking and prostitution, no, that's fake. That's false. So here's the thing. I'm pretty sure they're going to drive home this point to say, yo, this was just a domestic violence, toxic relationship. They're going to point out and they're going to ask Cassie, did you ever hit Sean? Did you ever hit him first? Did you ever go through his phone, seeing that he was fucking with another girl? You seen him say XYZ and you put hands on him, right? Remember, she also said that when Diddy posted the thing online calling Kim Porter his soulmate, she was like livid. And also at that point, she was almost done. How did that shit go down? I expect the prosecutor to at some point that out and have her explain, because it's better if you do it in a softball way rather than her getting a 102 mile per hour fastball that she got to deal with from the defense. Hey, did you ever hit Sean? And maybe she's like, yeah, after I felt like he was forcing me to go suck 10 dicks in a day. Like, yeah, I hit him. Like, people could understand that. Like, of course, like, yeah, you got hit because you're trying to force a girl to suck a fucking dick. You know what I mean? Yo, he peed on me and I almost choked and I punched him saying, stop. Okay, that makes sense, right? Like, you know, people are not going to look at her putting her, not that, again, in public opinion, nobody really cares about a woman who put hands on a man, but it does matter for this because that is Diddy's point. Diddy's entire point is that we were toxic. We used to put our hands on each other. We were beefing. She hit me. I hit her. But they're not charging me with hitting her. They charging me with sex trafficking. So I think at some point they're going to try to tie the possibility of her putting her hands on him to this idea of her feeling controlled or sex trafficking. They have to tie it there because otherwise that just seems like a mutual domestically violent relationship. Okay, cool. By the way, I think Roger Bonds spoke about that. He also said Cassie would, he said, I saw Cassie hit Diddy.
Into her lawsuit, there was another incident that happened in New York after a party with Jay-Z. It was in an Escalade. And she said that Diddy started to beat her, kick her, and so forth. He forced her out of the car on Fifth Avenue in New York. She eventually got a cab and got to her apartment in Manhattan, where she basically came home, cried in fear, and she spent 3 days in her apartment. Do you know about this incident?
I know about the incident, but I wasn't there for that night. Because when we went to New York, Paulie would take over.
Right. Paulie was the New York guy.
Right.
You were the out-of-town guy.
Yeah.
Got it. But you did see a fight when you guys were in a Cadillac at one point.
Yes.
And you guys were driving.
Yes.
Describe what happened.
Her and Puff was fighting, and I broke it up again. And I put Puff in the front seat, and I put Cassie in the back seat. And he was just sitting there, and I was like, yo, y'all can't be acting up like this, man. And then Cassie had punched him in the face, rightfully. She punched him in the face, and they started fighting, and I had the window open. And people started pulling up. Oh, shit, that's Diddy and Cassie in there fighting, and I'm trying to roll the window up at the same time. So in my mind, I was happy because I actually seen her fight back. In my mind, I was happy. And then when we got to the house, I pulled both of them out. And at this time, I was able to grab Puff. And I was able to start walking him up the hill. We lived in Beverly Hills. So I started walking him up the hill. And then Cassie ran behind me and she kicked him. You know what I'm saying? When he went to chase her, I grabbed him again. And I was able to stop it. So these are the things that people don't talk about. So I was able to stop it at that time, and then later on, they went in the house. It was almost like they would stay in the room for 2-3 days at a time, doing nothing but getting high. And then when they came out the room, it was like a different person. Cassie would be like a whole different type of person. She was very quiet. She started really not talking. And that's when I started realizing, like, she's at the point where she's just terrified.
Well, when she punched Diddy in the face in the car, I guess she had a ring on?
Yeah, she had a ring on. She had a monkey ring on. And the reason I remember this monkey ring on is because Uncle Paulie had left this same ring in L.A. one time. And
Hold on 1 second, Tam. Just grabbing some liquor.
See your Bonds, when you get to the house in L.A., yo, I left Cassie ring. So I said, okay, I'll get it. So I got the ring and I put it in a tissue. And you know how you just empty your pockets out one day? I emptied my pockets out and I threw the ring away. And this ring was a $10,000 ring. So I just threw it away. So when I went back to Ralph's to look in the parking lot, it wasn't there. So I went to, I forgot the jeweler name, famous jeweler on Fifth Avenue. It's Loren, something Loren. And I went to her. She knew who I was. And she gave me the same ring again on a payment plan. And I said, yo, I can't go back and tell them I lost this ring. And she said, okay, I'm going to give you the ring, Bonds, but you got to pay me $1,000 every month. And I said, okay. And lo and behold, it was a see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil ring.
The three monkeys.
The three monkeys.
Yeah.
But this was a see no evil. So the ring that she gave me was a hear no evil. Everything else was the same. And once again, when Cassie got in the room alone with Puff, for some reason she was afraid, and the next thing I heard was, Bonds, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. And I picked up the phone, and he said, yo, what happened? You lost the ring? You lost Cassie's ring? And I said, yeah, I lost the ring. He said, why you ain't tell me? I said, why should I tell you? I said, you always arguing with people about not handling things themselves. So I went down to the jeweler, I took responsibility, and I got another ring. He said, yeah, but that's not exactly the ring. You had to really look at it and see that it was different.
Now, some of y'all are going to say, what happened to Diddy's, Cassie's father or parents? Listen to this.
They had an abusive relationship that went both ways. Like you said, in the car, she punched him in the face with a ring on that, I guess, cut him.
No, I didn't cut him.
I didn't cut him, but it left an impression,
right?
On his face. And both of them were hit each other, but him more than her.
No, I'm not. I'm going to say, when I say hit each other, I'm going to say it's one or two incidents she hit back. But let's be real, Vlad. I've had fights with my wife, you know what I'm saying? And she can hit me. It's nothing compared to if I was to hit her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I say that they have an abusive relationship, I say sometimes she did fight back. But when I say fight back, this is after years.
Yeah.
This wasn't like the beginning, because at the beginning she would just ball up and crawl up. And to see him hit her would be like, you mad about something else. Like what are you really mad about? You know what I'm saying? And it became a point where, like, even everything that they talk about, like, you wouldn't know that all of this was going on because the immediate crew thought that was wifey. Like, she was off, nobody could say nothing to Cassie. So it was like, I love her. And it was times that me and him talk. And he would say, yo, Bonds, I don't know what to do. I said, what you mean you don't know what to do? It's coming a time where I'm going to have to make a decision between Kim and Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Shorty want to get married. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one specific time he asked me that. We was in the Hamptons, and I gave him an answer. And I said, even though you love Cassie, I said, Kim is your ride or die. She got the kids. And what I didn't know was, and he didn't know, is that he butt dialed Cassie. And the next week, Cassie came and told me, she said, Bonds, I heard you. I said, you heard what? She said, I heard you tell Puff to take Kim over me. And I was like, she said, nah, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And we never spoke about it again,
Well, yeah, I mean, from people I talked to that were close to Puff, they all told me that Puff refused to get married because he loved his money too much. and he couldn't comprehend potentially getting a divorce and splitting some of his money.
He told me that out of his own mouth. He said, I'm not giving nobody 50% of what I got.
Yeah. From people I've talked to that were around Cassie during this time, Cassie really wanted to marry Puffy. And I remember a private conversation I had with someone, an executive that everybody knows. They were, basically hanging out one day, and he said the whole time, the whole ride back was, hey, can you convince your friend Puffy to marry me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get married. I'm tired of just being his
So, I'm looking for this father part. Did I miss it?
girlfriend. Can you talk to him, convince him to get married? She wanted to marry him.
Okay. So remember I was talking about earlier? Looked like Cassie, and I think this is kind of normal too. You're with this guy who could get any woman he wants. He already has a family. He already got everything he wants. He's in the era of, I just want to fuck a young bitch. He don't want to wife up one young girl, but he's probably stringing her along. He's probably telling her like, yo, if you act right, you do everything I tell you to do, you don't be a headache, you going to be the one. I'm going to marry you. And she's probably going on that thought for a long time. But let's be honest, based on what Diddy was having her do, I don't think he was trying to marry her. I don't think he was trying to have kids and no family with her. He was just getting his rocks off. She was just like a joint he could freak out. And it was clear to me, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Diddy was more obsessed with power than he was obsessed with her. He was obsessed that this woman would do anything for him. And it's one of those things that he might have loved that idea than he loved her. You get what I'm saying? He might have loved the idea that she would do anything for him more than he loved her, if that makes any sense to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But he never wanted to marry her.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
During these abusive situations, you would sometimes take Cassie to the hospital?
Yes.
To the Beverly Hills Hospital, and you would go the
Through
back
through
door.
the back entrance, yes.
Okay. And
It's been times that I took her there, and it's been times I took Diddy there. Where I don't know if it's called the overdose. I don't know whatever you call it underneath them circumstances. But it was times that I had to take him through the back door for there also.
Okay. And the hospital basically just asked no questions?
No questions. It was like it was already taken care of through his staff.
Wow. Okay. And during this time, and you had kind of hinted at this before, Puffy asked what Cassie called her father and her grandfather, and that was Pop Pop?
Pop Pop.
Oh, shit, this did come up. We just heard Cassie say it.
Okay, and during this time, and you had kind of hinted at this before, Puffy asked what Cassie called her father and her grandfather, and that was Pop Pop?
Pop Pop, yes.
And he had her call him that.
Right. She would say it over the PA system and everything else, Pop Pop. And he got off on that. And I believe one time he was on the phone with the father and said, this is my daughter now. She called me Pop Pop. She called me Dad.
Oh, shit.
That's always been weird to me, man. When girls call me daddy in bed, I've always would stop them. I'm like, nah, I don't like.
Yeah, but Pop Pop was the name for the grandfather. Like, I think just freaky sex shit, a chick might say daddy or poppy. And I hope they're not thinking you're their actual dad, right? But a chick calling you her grandfather's name. What?
That sounds almost like incest. Like, I just don't like it. But
Right.
I guess he got off on that.
I guess so.
I guess so. And, he would send Cassie's parents on vacations and give them money and everything else like that to try to placate the situation.
Yes.
And they would take it.
Yeah, they would take it. They would take it, and her brother came, and I think he gave her brother a job working with her. You know what I'm saying? He would do all the things to calm it down, to satisfy, especially after they had a big blow up or a big fight. And he felt like the mother and father knew about it.
Wow. Okay, we should be back, chat. We should be back. By the way, let me just see any updates on TMZ. A crypto CEO got attacked. All right, whatever. By the way, we'll give an update on Tory afterwards. Just chill with me, chat. Chill with me. We are vibing today. Y'all all good? Where y'all at, by the way? Y'all at work? On the way back from work? Y'all cooling? What y'all eat for lunch? Got to do an update check on y'all every now and then, all right? All right, so let me just do a refresh here. Let me see what's going on over Kick. This is check-in time, people. This is check-in time. Yo, one hitter 7110. I see you over there, my boy. Butterfingers. Shit. Look like Diddy might have had them butterfingers, except it was baby oil fingers. This man Will, I see you over there. TLG Tristan, I see you. Shout out to everybody over at Kick, man. I encourage everybody to make an account over at Kick. We're doing an extra hour after this. We're going to be on Kick, people. We're going to be having a good old time. So please, rock out with me on Kick today. All right? Shout out to my Rumble squad real quick. By the way, Kick, I'm going to get y'all niggas on the screen. I also just updated my PFP on there. We got about, 2,700 people on Rumble. Shout out to y'all. Let me see what's good with y'all. It's an act. We in the gym right now. Exclusive Beats. You in the gym listening to Diddy About to Get Life? Shit. Tyree 504, I see you, my boy. He said, yo, yeah, Diddy need to get locked the fuck up. Streety 301 says, man, I'm at work trying to avoid my clients. Where you work at? Jewel Lavella. She says, I'm at work. I'm vibing and listening. The job just treated us to pizza. Ooh, y'all got treated to pizza on a Tuesday? That's what I'm talking about. Born Hustler says, yo, Rumble is actually the biggest. Never worried 24. I see you over there, my nigga. Scooter 2650. He says, what's up? What up? What up? DDVMCR says, fuck Kick. He beefing with Kick. www Zio. He says, W Stream. And Iceman Sosa 99 says, gang shit. And why you say fuck R Block? I thought R Block was Rumble Block. He said, we at the crib, man. We just cool. And I, Prince Cali, what up with you? And Lewis Rich, you're my guy. I always see you over there. By the way, Slim Gem Podcast Network, salute to you. Let me get over to the Academy, or actually King Academics. No, let's do King Academics first. Shout out to everybody over the King Academics channel who is watching. Let me see. Oh, shit. My man Wavy Stacks says, yo, I'm truck driving right now. You know, I'm running it up, man. Yo, listen, shout out to all my truck drivers. Let me tell you this. You know, I have a few friends that do truck driving, delivery. I understand how, number one, you guys are really important, but I also understand how tedious that job could be. And sometimes even like, you know, it's hard to keep concentration. I'm one of the people, I can't drive for too long. So if you listening to me helps you on your job, trust me. You help me, I help you, I love you, and I hope you love me. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Justin Carper. He says he's an Amazon delivery driver. Okay? Well, my only thing, Amazon been good. Not FedEx. UPS been getting a little sloppy with me, Chad. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think because I got so many signs at my gate. Yo, I got a sign on my gate that says, fuck the dog. Worry about the owner with the gun. I got all type of signs on my fence. I think sometimes they're like, yeah, we're not even going to walk up that shit to go to the door. Fuck that. You know what I mean? We're just going to leave it here. And I have the thing that allows delivery people to come up. They don't even fuck with my shit no more. It's all good. Oh, love from India. Who's from India? Oh, yeah, I read your shit before. Kushagra Bard. Oh, see, I'm going to fuck up your name. Bardwash. Okay. My man Dwayne is smoking hookah. Didn't somebody come on and say smoking hookah? If a guy smokes hookah, that's gay? Who said that? Who said that? Travis Paul, you watching me from London, man. I miss London. Hopefully next time I come to London, I'm going to be doing an event. Hopefully I see you. Somebody says, Blasian China Fashion says, was that the hospital Beg went to? What are you talking about? What hospital? Are we talking about the hospital that Diddy went to? Great question. I'll rewind on that topic. Let me just rewind on it for a second. Where is it at? Oh my God, where is it at? Roger Bonds. Yeah, we're gonna figure this out.
No questions. It was it was already taken care of through his staff.
Sorry. Yeah, we're gonna figure out what hospital. Yeah, so if it's in LA, there's like this big hospital that they do most of the stuff. London, UK, I see you out here. Manny 17. I'm telling you, my truck drivers. Yo, chat. Hey, yo, Verselli, I know you're probably watching, or if you're not, Claudia or somebody who works with me, whatever. Yo, we gotta, and I don't know if y'all could do this. I want to get, do you know how people who drive, they'll have like a sticker? They'll be like, oh, so-and-so for Trump or so-and-so for Obama. We're going to get a sticker you could put on your truck. I don't know if y'all could do that though, because maybe I work for a company. But a chat nigga thing, especially if you be watching us, you could put on like a little sticker you could put on your truck, especially if you be watching. I'm telling you, there's mad truck drivers who watch me. I guarantee you. I know. Shout out to my boy Keon Gray. He says he's on the road too. Who else in the building? My man YYY says Freed Amanda. Oh, by the way, thank you guys for the donation. Kay, our beautiful chat queen from London, she says, yo, could we get a stream for the B-Day event? I love you, Ak. I love you too. Yes, you will get a stream. Now, again, this is a little bit of intermission. We're going to get right back to, we're taking some time that the Cassie tweets could build up that we could get back into it. Chat. So for Thursday, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Remember, and I'm taking this coverage of this Diddy trial shit really serious because we've covered this for so long. What I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to be able to stream, I'm going to start at 8 a.m. Okay? I'm going to start at 8 a.m. I'm going to stream desktop first, 8 to 12 or something. And then afterwards, I'm going to try to get my hair done the night before. I'm going to stream desktop to cover the Diddy trial, maybe till noon. Or whenever they break. Then I got to get over to the venue. We got to do meet and greets. We're going to do whatever. And I'm going to try to do some IRLs there for all my people who watch me. So I appreciate all you guys. All right. Thank you to my guy, Mr. Club Kicks Blackwell. Thank you for the 20. He says, yo, Ryan, real toxic behavior. Facts. He says, Diddy and Cassie were heavy into drugs. You saw how big Puff got when he got off them. Come on, people. We see it so often. We're calling it what it is, toxic. Chad, for the people, and I know they call y'all parasocial, which y'all probably are. For the people who be invested in my shit, I know about some toxic relationships, okay? You got a motherfucker, you hate him, love him, and hate him again. You can't stand them, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So there are toxic relationships. This is a little bit extreme, though. Because people don't usually, it's not 10 years of you having men fuck your girl. I don't know if I told you. I don't do TMI. I think the liquor is getting to me already. I was going to tell you a TMI. Actually, I'll give it a TMI. And this is like weird kinks. Okay? This is like weird kinks. So there was this girl I was dealing with back in college. She's actually linked to mad shit. She was a girl that my homie, like one of my homies, like my homies, we were competing. Like me and my homies had like toxic shit about, we were just competing to get bitches in college. My homie who was living with me, he recorded me one day of me talking about how many bitches I had on campus. I was a DJ. Sent it to her. This chick stopped fucking with me a little bit and he started fucking her. Like my homie really stinked me. Long story. We'll get to that one day. So anyway, he actually, like, I find out this and third, Shorty stops fucking with him because she was fucking with me first, blah, blah, blah. Now, what ended up happening is that as time went on, my homie was doing the most. And it's one of those things where, like, you ever see two dudes, like, we weren't competing over the girl. Because I used to say, back in college, this was my seventh bitch. Pause. Like, if I had a roster, I don't really think I had a roster, but it was like, she's the chick. She wasn't really, like, whatever. But the mere fact my homie felt he could take my bitch, now I'm on timing. I got to keep this hoe. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm giving her attention that she should have never got because my homie wants her, right? By the way, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. Y'all young niggas, let me tell you this. Women do this. Women know this intuitively. Every woman knows this. Never brag about your man to your friend or another bitch. You tell your man how this is for a woman. If you're a woman and you tell your friends or you brag to other bitches how your nigga could fuck or he got a big dick, they're going to go fuck your nigga. That's how it works. That's what happened to me. I went to go tell my niggas how this bitch was fire. He went to go get the bitch. Okay? I'm so forgiving. I actually didn't cut him off afterwards. It's all good. Anyway, I'm making the story fast because we got to get back to Cassie. Cool. So I didn't really give a fuck about her, but then since he thought he could, it was all about ego. So I'm like, yo, you think you could take my bitch? Nigga, I'm Ak. I bet. All right. So now I got to keep this hoe. Anyway, he started doing so much weird shit. The nigga was recording me in the crib. Like, nigga, we lived together. He was recording me and sending it to the girl. Be like, you sure you want to fuck with Ak? Yo, I just talked to him. in the kitchen. Like, he said he got like 8 bitches on campus. Like, you sure you want to fuck with him? Snake me. I found out later. Anyway, I realized he was doing so much weird shit. I'm like, yo, you could have this chick. Like, I'm competing off ego. You seem to like her. He didn't like her. He dated her for like 2 to 3 years afterwards. Cool. They break up after 2 3 years later. I guess I turn into whatever I turn into. She comes back around. This is about like 4 years ago. What year is this now? Yeah, she comes around like 2020. This is after I broke up with Angelica. Chick pops up. This is a chick from my college. All right, cool. I was like, yo, whatever happened with you and my homie? I thought y'all was good. She was like, nah, I broke up with that nigga, blah, blah. Whatever, cool. Now, this is a relevant part. She tells me, tell me if I ever told y'all this story. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. She tells me that, when she tells me she has a boyfriend. So the whole time I'm like, bitch, why are you at my house with a boyfriend? Then she tells me the wildest shit I've heard from a woman that's ever said it to me. She says, check this out. She was dating some nigga in Miami who was like, I don't know if she took coke, but she would tell me like, yo, he's always coked up. And I'm like, yo, I remember you in college. Because if I'm talking about anybody in college, this is before I'm act. This is regular nigga. I'm only drinking Smirnoff and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Y'all niggas is taking coke now? So I'm like, how the fuck you? Anyway, here's the point where she tells me. She says she has a man. So I'm like, why are you at my house and shit? She says, and she gives me the crazy scenario. I promise you. Did I tell you the story? Somebody said story too long is lying. No, I'm not. The mere fact you think I'm lying, bro, I tell you everything about my life for the most part. Like, the only thing I would tell y'all is like, y'all be wanting to know current day-to-day shit about. No, like you'll hear later about now. You won't hear now about now. So Shorty tells me that her guy in Miami, he's on kind of what Diddy's on. Well, she doesn't say Diddy because this was way before. She says, because we used to just only fuck. She says, hey, we could fuck because now we've been chilling, talking about the old times, talking about all the bullshit. Now she's like, oh, by the way, I gotta let you know. You know, I told you I had a man. Yo, we could fuck, but there's one caveat. And I'm like, what? She says, we have to record it and send it to my man. I promise you, I swear. I'm like, what? She's like, my man allows me to fuck niggas, but he tells me when I could fuck them, how I could fuck them, and he tells me if he has to watch me fuck them. So like she was like, yeah, we have to tape this, and I was just like, bitch, you out of here. I said, first of all, I know you knew me back in college, but it's big act now. Stop it. I'm not. You think I'm like an OnlyFans star? Anyway, she then tells me about their relationship. The dude, he brought her out to Miami. So this is in the time I haven't spoke to her in years. Remember, I left college. I ain't talked to college people in a while. She said the dude had 2 of his friends fuck her in front of him. Like he was on some Diddy. She was in a corner watching. I said, wait, you let 2 of the niggas' friends fuck you? She's like, yeah. Mostly from what I was getting from it, she was saying the nigga had bread and the nigga was paying for X, Y, and Z. And she was just like, I'm going to let it happen. So I'm like, you're with this guy. And so, you know, just to end the story, we didn't record because I'm not recording no video to send to your cuck-ass boyfriend. Then another time she came over, she told me, she said, today he told me I can't fuck, but I could give head. But if I give head, I got to give the video. So I said, wait. And she was really honest about it. And she was serious. She was like, if he says today I can't fuck, I could only suck dick. I could only suck dick today. And I was like, is this really a thing? After watching all this Diddy shit, this is a thing. This is a thing, bro. Nah, that ain't wifey time. Anyway, I'm going to end this story by saying she got married to another nigga, some white guy. She got married to some white guy probably like 8 months later. So I don't know if he knows all of that shit, but who cares? So there is this underworld of niggas like watching their bitches getting fucked. All right, cool. So we're back into it, I think. I'm back into it. Okay. All right. So she found escorts on Craigslist. They went to break. Now they're back. Okay. All rise. Some Iranians back in the building. AUSA says, Ventura, in what cities did you respond to the ads on Craigslist? She says, in New York. AUSA says, did you respond on Backpage as well? Ventura says, yes. AUSA says, who directed you to communicate with the escorts? Now, this is where they're trying to make that tie to say, no, Diddy made me do it. Defense says, objection. We don't know if the judge sustained or overruled, but the AUSA says, who, if anyone, in the defense says, same objection, assumes a fact that's not in evidence. AUSA says, they're trying to put it in a different way. Did you ever reach out to escorts independently? She says no. AUSA says, did you ever not use an escort who arrived? Ventura says, one couldn't perform, so Sean sent him on. AUSA says, what was a safe escort? Ventura says, not a cop, and someone who wouldn't run and tell everyone about their experience with us. AUSA says, wait, why not a cop? Cassie says, I learned this whole situation was not legal. Defense says, objection. By the way, keep in mind, and this is nuanced. Nuanced stuff to consider. Prostitution is illegal in the majority parts of the country. It's also illegal nationally. So federally, it's illegal, okay? Even though in places like, for example, in Nevada, there's places where prostitution is legal, even though it's like one of those things where marijuana, right? Marijuana is illegal federally, but it's legal in New Jersey. Will the feds come to New Jersey to lock up a New Jersey resident for using marijuana? No, they won't, because they usually have some discernment and say, well, state law allows you to use marijuana. But technically, federally, marijuana is illegal. Okay? So, what happens with this idea of escorting? Escorting is like a skirt around way to escape prostitution. An escort, you usually pay for their time. Their time doesn't mean sexual services. A prostitute, you pay for their services, which are sexual. That's explicitly prohibited, banned, illegal in the majority of places, including federally. An escort, you could hire an escort and talk to her for 2 days. It doesn't, now granted, colloquially, it implies that the escort is the fuck, but it's a workaround. So the AUSA is trying to bring up via Cassie, hey, I know you're hiring escorts, but did Diddy, was he aware that some of the things that y'all were doing was a gray area that could be illegal? And that's what they're getting to. So Cassie says, I learned this whole situation was not legal. Defense says objection. They're going to object because the idea of escorts isn't necessarily illegal. The judge says the jury will disregard that last answer because that's non-factual. Hiring an escort isn't essentially illegal, but hiring someone for pay for sex services is illegal. So the AUSA continues by saying, how did the cash get there? The judge jumps, security, or he brought him himself? No, this got to be Cassie. I think this has got to be Cassie. It says security either brought the cash or himself. Okay, yeah, so they correct themselves here. Ventura says that, right? It says, AUSA says, the escort Dave. Do you know his real name? Ventura says Clayton Howard. The AUSA says, who is this? Then they show the photo to the witness, which is, they showed it to Cassie. She says, Daniel. AUSA says, what service did you use? She said, we use a dancer service. So it appears that now that we're getting more information, Cassie was soliciting these let's call them sex workers, to have sex with her in these freak-offs via Craigslist, Backpage, and dancer services, right? So they would hire male strippers at times. And then I guess when the male strippers got there, they would be like, hey, bro, are you down to fuck her? Clearly, I would imagine if there's a first time they're in masquerade, they would hope they can't understand. And I'm going to be honest with you, Cassie's a fucking attractive girl. Like, I'm going to be honest, I can see, Cassie's motherfucking really, really attractive, if you ask me. Yeah, Cassie's bad. Let's go back. And this is Cassie now in her 30s, right? Cassie in her 30s, like, yo, Cassie is still bad. You show up and you a dancer, you're thinking it's gonna be some old, ugly, fat ass bitch. Instead, you see is Cassie, looking fine as hell, oiled up and lubricated with baby oil, and you're like, oh my God, fuck the dancing. I'll fuck her for, I would have fucked her for free. Right? AUSA says, do you recognize Jules? Ventura says, yes. In what cities did you have the freak off with Jules? So I'm guessing this is another person. So we've heard about like a few sex workers, right? Gigolos, if you want to call it that. So here we go. We hear about one named, here we go. One couldn't perform, then another one. Dave. Then their real name was Clayton Howard. Then we heard about another one named Jules. Ventura says, yes, I recognize him. In what cities did you have a freak off with Jules? NY, LA, and Vegas. AUSA says, do you know his last name? She says, no. AUSA says, do you know this person? So they're just showing all the many niggas who have put dicking up in Cassie's stomach. Yo, if I was her boyfriend or Alex Fine at this point, I'm like, yo, I got to throw up. Like, God damn. Y'all are they're bringing up a dick lineup. Hey, remember fucking him? Yup. Remember fucking him? Yup. Remember him peeing on you? Yup. Remember? They're giving a dick lineup to Cassie right now. She said, I don't know his name. I only knew him as the Punisher. Holy. Crazy. Did you use drugs at every freak off? She says, yes. I needed to disassociate and become emotionless. Who else used drugs at the freak offs? Ventura says Sean did, sometimes the escort. AUSA says, what other drugs did you use? Ventura says Special K. What the fuck is Special K? GHB. Ooh. I think GHB is a date rape drug. Am I tripping? Am I tripping, Jack? Wow, GHB drug. Let's. What the fuck is GHB?
Hydroxybutyrate. In terms of GHB, gamma hydroxybutyrate, in terms of neurotoxicity and effects in the body, it's actually one of the safest because it breaks down into
Is GHB the date rape drug? I know it's Rufinol, but I keep hearing GHB. It's gamma hydroxybutyl. Shit, I'm a fucking biomathematics. I have a degree in it, so I've taken all the science classes. But damn, I'm trying to put that together. What the fuck? What type of chemical is that?
carbon dioxide and water. It's something that actually naturally occurs in our bodies already. But when you buy it as a drug, it can be bought as crystals and powder and then diluted, but most often you're gonna get a
I see my boy Arch Nemesis like, nah, that's that date rape shit, bro.
viscous fluid, and then you would typically shoot a bit or mix it in with some juice. In smaller doses, it can act like alcohol in a way. It's kind of just a relaxing, happy buzz. Depending on context and setting, a gang and environment, it can be a
I got the soothing music going on. Look like they trying to give y'all an alley-oop to go get it.
A sexual drug for some people. Other people will have kind of spasms and they'll sit there and jerk, and that's just a sign they're doing too much. Some people think, well, it's a depressant drug, so if they've done too much, we should give them some meth or some coke.
Seabrook, stop playing with me, nigga. You know I'm a biomathematics major, nigga.
To counter.
I took organic chemistry, nigga.
Correct it. That's just not helpful. It's the body's already dealing.
Yeah, I thought it was the date rate. Hold on, let me date. I don't know if you could type in right. Yeah, you could type that. All right. Here we go.
One of the ways that people are taking advantage of us when we drink alcohol, and not even necessarily alcohol anymore, it used to be just alcohol, is they're using a drug called GHB, which was formerly known as Rohypnol. Now this
Oh yeah, that Rohypnol is what we looked up yesterday. That's the date rape drug. Okay, so now it's called. Wait, here we go. Let me. Wow. Rohypnol is it's not approved for use. It's a powerful sedative, hypnotic drug belonging to the benzodiazepine class. Wow. Really? Supposedly, it is prescribed to treat insomnia, but because it's such a sedative, it could be used to like rape people. What the fuck?
particular drug comes in the form of a liquid. It's a clear liquid, and when
Okay, I think the what they call GHB is liquid, because I read all them civil complaints. Those mention. Remember, they kept saying there was like the syringe, and I was just like, I thought this thing was a pill. So the what they call GHB is still date rape drug, but it's liquid, not pill form. Rohypnol, I believe, is a pill form thing, right? Rohypnol is pill form. By the way, both go under the title or the colloquial title of date rape drug, but this is pill form. This is liquid form.
in your drink, it doesn't smell of anything.
Wow.
You wouldn't taste it, and you wouldn't notice any.
Somebody says Special K. We just seen that. It says Special K is ketamine. Really? Nigga, ain't that like a cereal? Special K. That's not a cereal? Now, obviously, I'm going to believe y'all, but like, there's Special K, that's cereal. So this is not what Diddy was given. Diddy was given ketamine. Special K, GHB, and mushrooms. Let me just finish watching this. This is another minute left.
Signs of when you've drank your drink, oh, I've just drank GHB. But it's so strong, it's got such a strong sedative in it that even a small of amount of it can actually put you to sleep. So much, you know, if you had too much of it, it would actually, again, like what heroin could do, would slow your body down so much that it just wouldn't continue breathing, but that would be a very rare case of it. What generally happens with GHB is it's put inside somebody's drink. Now that could be water, Coke, or an alcoholic drink for the purposes of that person to take advantage of them. Doesn't have to be sexually, it could be financially. They want to steal their jewellery, they want to steal this. And in some cases, you might wake up, you may realise what has happened, and other times, sadly, you may not. There is no, guarantee that...
Okay, so now we know what that is. Okay. Wow. I'm wondering if she said she used Special K. Y'all have told me that's ketamine, which I'm still confused. I don't want to keep watching videos about drugs, but Special K, ketamine. How is ketamine given to people these days?
What exactly is a K-hole? So we're talking like larger doses of ketamine, not micro.
Wait, you gotta inject ketamine? Oh yeah, I could never do that. I'm scared of needles, child. I'm scared of needles. I'm pussy. I always told y'all, the reason why I take the COVID vaccine, I'm scared of needles. And they said everybody was dropping like flies, nigga. I said, could y'all give me the vaccine without sticking me with a needle? They said, nah, we gotta stick with a needle. All right, I'm gonna catch y'all next year. Never took the vaccine, straight over needles. If it was a pill, I would have been took that vaccine. So if ketamine is given in this, yeah, I can't get jiggy with this.
Dosing. And you're basically hitting that point where you're about to tip into the like plasma concentrations of like anesthetic ketamine. So you're basically starting to like drift off into the anesthetic effects of ketamine, but you...
Yeah, I know I drink. Like, how much more powerful are these things than liquor? Because, shit, I drink a lot. Is ketamine powerful more than liquor? GHB seems to be. Or it looks like you add it to liquor, which makes it crazier, right? But what about ketamine?
You haven't quite hit that level, and so you're still awake, you're aware, you're dissociated, and you just feel like you can't move, like you're just like weighed down in a hole. And that's...
Damn, that shit look like the shit that Dexter be injecting people with. Is ketamine the same as Special K?
ketamine is also something that is a scheduled narcotic. It is something that can be found on the streets as a party drug or special K. So ketamine does have the capability at high doses of causing a euphoric effect or dissociative effect. However, at the doses...
Isn't ketamine like horse tranquilizer, or am I tripping? I never understood the idea of people taking tranquilizers.
we administered under a controlled environment, that is not a common complaint or issue. There's a common misconception that something that causes euphoria thereby causes addiction, and the reality is that's not the case. Ketamine's effect has very little to do with it being in your system. In fact, it's in and out of your system very quickly. Therefore, tolerance and withdrawal and addiction is actually very unlikely with ketamine as compared to other well-known addictive substances like opioids, like Oxycontin or meth.
Okay, these things look like they're giving an endorsement. Fuck out of here. Okay, so we understand that. Let's get to some new tweets. AUSA says, I'll read parts of this email. You read yours, okay? I'll read Sean parts. You read yours. When should I take this thing? When will you be here? Okay, so Ventura is reading what she's saying to Diddy. I guess she's talking about taking some type of drug. I don't know if it's mushrooms. Remember, she just admitted to taking Special K, which is ketamine, GHB, which is Rufinol, or the liquid version of Rufinol, which is called, colloquially the date rape drug, and also mushrooms. So I guess she's asking, when should I take this thing? When will you be here? AUSA says, pausing you there. What did you mean? She said drugs, so she's admitting she was talking about drugs. Now she's talking for Sean. She says, I took mine, I'm flying. So basically, Diddy was trying to schedule that she was going to be high as soon as he landed. I'm guessing he was on a plane, right? Unless he means I'm flying like I'm already high. I don't know. AUSA says, what does he mean? Ventura says he's high. Oh, okay. So Diddy is saying he's flying. So basically saying, I took either the mushrooms, the GHB, or the ketamine, and I'm already high. So he's telling her, hurry up and take yours that you could get high like me. All right. Now, this would appear to be the AUSA trying to convince everybody that Diddy is forcing her to take drugs. What do you guys think by how this email is reading? Is he forcing her? Is he encouraging her? Is he asking her? Is he just suggesting to her? You guys tell me, does this look, and again, we're going to get some more tweets in a second. By the way, if you guys are on the King Akademiks page, it's no way we got 16,000 people over there and y'all only have 2,000 likes. This is nasty work, man. This is nasty work, man. Y'all treat me like Ja Rule in the Freakoffs for the butt plugs, man. Stop playing with me. Could y'all at least get to at least 4,000 or 5,000 likes? If you're watching on the King Akademiks page, could you please get to that amount? Blessed, thank you for the 10. It says, it's a scary world. You could offer someone an out, but they voluntarily stay and say they want to continue for 10 years to not lose you, but it becomes your fault for continuing and believe in what they say. Again, that's going to be a very big source of contention. I would think that the AUSA is going to try to cover those trails by saying, well, Cassie, not only was she being financially coerced, Cassie was also drunk and high all the time. And really, you say you were under the influence. She was under the influence that she was really unable to make those rational thoughts and decisions to leave, So I imagine that's going to be a thing. All right. Let me get over to the Academy. By the way, if you're wondering, like I'm going to every platform we stream on. I'm reading the chats. Really, we stream on 5, right? 2 YouTubes, Rumble, Kick, actually 6, and then 2 Facebook channels. I never read Facebook. No disrespect to y'all. Love y'all. Yeah, I'll give you the update on Tory, but let's continue until at least 5 o'clock when they dismiss everyone. Okay? You want to continue this until 5 o'clock when they dismiss everyone. By the way, thank you for the 18 new members on the Academy page. I sincerely appreciate you guys. Jalen Tatum. Jalen Tatum, or you mean Jason Tatum? He said the Feds are playing a dirty game. By the way, if your name is Jalen Tatum, y'all got to go figure out what's going on with the Celtics. The Celtics they're catching L's. Jose says alcohol is actually the worst drug out there. Rest Up says, man, I'm trying to quit weed. I think I'm addicted. I thought people say you couldn't get addicted to weed. Mike Knight says Tory's on PC. Well, I would imagine it would put him on protective custody now that he's been stabbed. Ant-Man says Celtics is over with. Somebody says Access fuck Tory till 5 p.m. No, I didn't say fuck Tory. I said we're going to continue with real life updates on what's going on with this case. Somebody says a hangover is nothing. King Buck, by the way, thank you again for all the gifted memberships. Blessed, I did read what you said. Hey, Double G and Double N. He says, I've been a chat nigga. Thank you for the 50, by the way. I appreciate you so much. He says, I've been a chat nigga since 2017. Started as Big Bro. Now I'm Unk. Day streaming are the best. I work from home and no one is bigger, Ack. Damn, thank you so much, Double G. I appreciate you so much. Ruger Red. He's been a member for 22 months. We've been doing membership for 22 months. He says this case might ruin Cassie's relationship at home. I would imagine that they've had to have that conversation. Like Alex Fine and I want to say no. She filed the lawsuit. She got some money. He's spending the money that she got. When he first met her, she was with Diddy. I'm pretty sure some of what he did to get her, chat, put it like this. If I got a bitch and my security guard or my trainer takes her from me, I guarantee she was venting to that nigga and he was playing the gay best friend till he put dick up in her stomach. So the Alex Fine heard a lot about these things before. It's no way he's hearing about it for the first time. He used to be around her while she was with Diddy, and he's not married to her. So he must have heard through her ranting, venting. She clearly saw him as a safe place. I don't think this is going to ruin the household. Now, it might bruise his ego, hearing this and seeing the guys who fucked her. But will it ruin the fact that they have now, or about to have like 3 kids, they have a family, he married her. Her name is Cassandra Ventura Fine. I don't think so. Also, here's the thing. There is a theory out there that the only reason why she filed a lawsuit is because he didn't have that guap. He ain't had the money. And basically, he told her, yo, you was with Diddy all this time. Let's go get some. Some people feel like he is in cahoots with her going at her ex that they could secure the bag for their future. So if this is all part of maybe the continue and secure the bag play, why would he leave the girl over hearing the details? No. If he's that triggered, step out of court. But I think he probably heard a lot of these things before. He probably been with her. Nigga, he showed up yesterday, the day before, and she didn't show up. So it looked like he was going out of his way to hear details. Somebody said, oh shit, he don't got no... The nigga was broke. He was his trainer. Probably getting paid like, how much does trainers get paid? $700 a week to train Cassie? He probably had multiple clients. $700 a week. Diddy's playing with damn near almost $1 billion, or at least hundreds of millions at a time. She's used to multiple cars, 5 houses. She's used to Maybachs, not Hondas. Like, yeah. Let me tell you this, man. Everybody know this. One in the chat, if this is a real nigga opinion right here. I always say it. Men, we don't downgrade in sexuality, which means if you find a freaky bitch who do XYZ, the next chick better do XYZ plus ABC. Men, we don't decrease when it comes to sexuality. Women, for the most part, don't go down for the next nigga when it comes to lifestyle. Nobody want to go from flying on private jet to be in the back of Southwest Airline. Nobody wants to do that. So yeah, she might have loved him, but it probably got some frustrating times. Like, man, I used to be flying on the G5 with this motherfucker, Sean. I used to have 15 helpers, security guards. I never had to wait online and no club, no this. Yeah, you're with the trainer. Yeah, he ain't got too much. So at a certain point, the trainer gonna be like, shit, let's go get the bread that you can stop, let's get the lifestyle. That's a fact. Let me tell you this, man. Your girl, well, there's some stupid ass bitches who do that. They'll go from one nigga who got A, B, and C, and then go to another nigga who's a homeless bum. But I digress. But for the most part, women don't downgrade when it comes to lifestyle. You think Cardi B was going to leave Offset and go get like a nigga at Walmart? As much as that sound good, these chicks claim all they want is a nigga that don't cheat. Then they go get another nigga who got more money that could cheat even more. Like I was so confused with the Cardi B shit. I'm like, yo, Cardi B, how you leave Offset for cheating and you get with this nigga who's the biggest cheater? This shit don't even make sense. Women ain't going to downgrade their lifestyle though. Cardi B leaves Offset. She goes to the nigga who got the hundreds of millions of dollars in NFL contracts. She ain't downgrading. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Listen, this is why, Carisha been doing her thing. This is why she ain't pop out with no new nigga yet. Because you pop out with a nigga who all he got is a Cybertruck when you used to be with Diddy who bought you a house, bought you a Maybach. It's hard for these chicks to pop out after Diddy. This is why you seen her trying to get close to Shador, but yeah, it's not happening. There's only one Diddy. Diddy done ruined her. I'm going to be honest with y'all. These women don't want to downgrade. So let me tell you what happened if you ask me. Cassandra Ventura left Diddy because Diddy was probably treating her like shit, probably having her, like her pH balance is off. He fucking 30 other girls. Also having her pH balance off because 20 sex workers a week is fucking her. She leaves, she finds love, but the nigga don't got the bag. Let me tell you this, man. It's cool for the first year. Love don't last that long. Money lasts forever if you got it. After the first year, she's like, fuck all this shit, man. Fuck all this love shit, man. I miss that shit Diddy used to have. You know what? This nigga, I think he came up with the idea. Man, let's sue that bitch ass nigga Diddy, man. Fuck that nigga, man. That nigga probably said, man, I think we got 30 million reasons why that nigga want to give us some bread, man. At least if we got the millions, you don't got to be looking at me like that no more. You can focus back on love. Because trust me, when she got to wait in line at Disney World, she got to get connecting flights, no more private jets. You feel me? Uber Pool, not Uber Lux or Uber Black or whatever. These chicks go from black truck to Hondas. Now, like, love lasts a little bit. They're like, man, this is not cool. So I think his idea was, let's go get the bread from this bitch ass nigga. Trust. Anyway. Hopefully some more tweets popped up. Hopefully some more. Yeah, we did. It says, I read Sean's parts of the email. Oh, no, never mind. We did that already. Okay. Why did you take more drugs? Ventura says to not be present with the experience. AUSA says, why? Said, because it was something I hated. AUSA says, how do you react to ecstasy and MDMA, which is Molly, I believe? Ventura says, it would make me vomit. AUSA says, what would he say? He would tell me to continue. AUSA says, well, did you continue to have intercourse when you wanted to vomit? She said, no. AUSA says, well, how did the GHB make you feel? She says, drunk, tipsy. AUSA said, what about that cocaine? How did that cocaine make you feel? Shit, that shit made my heart race. I'm not a huge fan of it. AUSA says, what about the mushroom? She said, man, them walls kept coming alive. The judge says, we're going to take another break. Damn, how many bathroom breaks are going to take? We have pretty much one more hour. They're taking another break. Okay. Let's see. Holy shit. All right. So we got our drug explanations. By the way, I think we do have Page 6 is live.
Like when it was announced that we were going.
What is this? I want to see this. Let's see supposedly there's videos of, again, I'm going to touch on Tory Lanez as soon as, By the way, Kim K is also in court. Kim K is in court in Paris for the case where, remember, she was robbed at gunpoint? She's in court for that, by the way. We'll give an overview of that later. This is Alex Fine seen leaving after open arguments. Anything else? They didn't have too much about on the Diddy stuff. Oh, here is Diddy's family arriving today.
Coming true.
Somebody's Jamaican. Coming true. That's Janice. That Diddy's mom's. Mom being escorted in. Now, here's the thing, too. I do believe that, and you might be like, why? I do think that there is some legal counsel that's coming in with the family. Remember, there's a lot of civil suits flying around this criminal case. And I think everybody's showing up with some legal representative, no matter who it is, because these are things that are, remember, you have Gloria Allred there, Tyrone Blackburn over there. I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Busby is in the winds somewhere. You have accusers, alleged victims, and you want all these things to be in the watchful eyes and monitored by your attorney because shit, a development could happen here that could change the outlook of that case. Yeah, I would imagine this is like a lawyer, someone, legal representative, maybe a consultant, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. Diddy's mom's wig game is always amazing. I ain't gonna lie. Her wigs are always lit. I can't even lie.
Is there a message for Cassie?
Is there a message to Cassie? Fuck that bitch. That's what she want to say. A message to Cassie from Diddy's mom. Man, fuck that bitch, man.
Morning.
I would have guessed some of these are legal representatives. Maybe this person's like an assistant or a friend or something like that. Now here we go. This looked like the bodyguard. The bodyguard look, suited and booted. Quincy. Yeah, and by the way, it is raining out here today. Quincy popping out. The daughter is popping out. This person looks pregnant. Who is this? Am I tripping? Is she pregnant? I'm not trying to body shame nobody. Twins right here? By the way, don't move by Quincy, helping his sisters go along. Standing out there, almost like a protective big brother. Fuck with it. You see Christian? So he at least makes sure the girls get out. Christian got the rest. Diddy got a great big family, man. You would hope that Diddy would be happy with, his offspring and shit like that and maybe not want to either jeopardize it or be doing this other shit because they all seem loving to each other too, right? Okay, I don't know who this is, but by his demeanor, I would think is maybe security. We see Christian here. Another sister. Is she one of the twins or no? Okay. He's holding her hand, and then you see Justin right here. Holding hand in solidarity. Okay. You see Quincy with everybody else.
Morning.
Now, we've seen weird, let's not call it weird, but we've seen stuff, especially during trial week or whatever, where sometimes supporters or close family members, they show up a certain way. Not to use this extreme example, but it's the only thing that comes to mind. When it came to Charles Manson, right? Wasn't he a serial killer? Charles Manson. He had women show up and they even shaved their head at one point, just stand outside of court, all solidarity, basically saying, yo, we love this nigga. This nigga's innocent, right? Not to, juxtapose that to the family of Diddy and everything. But, I'm wondering how much that matters. Where let's all walk holding hands. Let's all, it's that show of solidarity. I'm wondering how much it matters in the grand scheme of things, other than the media. Like the media, we're gonna watch it, but how does that bleed into court? Does jurors, take a note of that? And they might, because the jurors go home at night, right? Like they're not sequestered where they can't leave. So they go home at night. They might look at the trial. Like even though they're sworn or they agree to not do it, right? Okay. That's them walking in. You see Christian? A lot of press out there.
Can you confirm to us that maybe you did break
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why Misa is always just like walking by herself, like with not much assistance or no security around her either. And she's always like seemingly last to the party. You know, I would imagine that's Justin's mom, I believe. Is it? Watch it. This is Misa, right?
speculation? Did you break your leg? What was the...
Apparently she's wearing a boot for people who... Yeah, she's wearing a boot on her leg. Yeah, she's wearing a boot on her leg. I think she had a leg injury. By the way, I have to also imagine that it's her choice to not be in a wheelchair, because I'm pretty sure she could have been in a wheelchair, right? But it looks like she wants to do this, I would imagine, right? They're helping her up. This is via the New York Post, by the way. And she finally makes it in. Now here's the lawyers. Mark Agnifilo, or Agnifilo. I might be butchering her name, or butchering his name each time. By the way, surprisingly, we haven't heard too much about Mark Agnifilo, I'm going to be honest. Now, while we read what is being said by, what do you call it again? The tweeter, which is Inner City Press, they stop referring to each lawyer by name. They just say defense. So we don't know who's speaking at this point. I believe this is one of Diddy's lawyers too. He looked like he bought business. Okay. Someone else here. I don't know who they are. Okay, I think this might be Xavier Donaldson, right?
It is the second.
Hold on, this might be Xavier Donaldson. Let's see. Xavier, that might be him. Xavier Donaldson. Let's see if we can find out who that is. Yep, Xavier Donaldson. Okay. Big Money E, he says, yo, Ak, I work at Walmart. Stop using us as the broke side niggas. Been watching for 10 years. Here to go. Tyrell Dave, thank you for the 10. It says, yo, I haven't heard Cassie say Diddy made me or forced me to do anything. She might have associated the beats with the freak off. It's clear he was putting bell to ass for everything, not just the freak offs. Hey, again, domestically violent relationship, maybe not sex trafficking, which again, I think the prosecutors got to do a good job of. First, you know what the prosecutors hasn't done yet? You got to establish this racketeering. I know they've lightly said, okay, he would have his security take the phone. He would have his workers do this. He would have Christina Karam do that. But like, you got to break down. Remember, the biggest charge is the RICO charge.
Every one of you is trying to convict Sean P. Diddy Combs will die of decapitation. Every one of you white devils.
Morning, Gloria.
Gloria's there, chat. Gloria's.
Thank you, Gloria. Have a good one. Gloria.
Rate the drip, chat. Rate the drip. Rate the drip. Okay. All right. All righty then. So let's get back to the tweets. Hopefully we get a little bit more. They did take a break. They haven't dismissed yet for the day. We imagine that this is going to be the last stretch and the last stretch before they dismiss for the day. So we got about like 40 minutes or so. I don't believe that they've gotten through half of Cassie's testimony or Cassie's direct examination, which is the AUSA questioning Cassie. So if you ask me, she's going to be brought back tomorrow for another day. Maybe they finish up by lunch. If they don't finish up by lunch, I believe that the judge is going to probably see what the timeline is. Maybe they finish up with her by the end of the day. But I think maybe at lunch they will finish because it'll be 4 more hours tomorrow. And then the goal is going to be you're going to get the cross-examination. I think cross-examination is also going to take a full day. Cross-examination is going to take a full day. And then after cross-examinations, we're going to see a redirect and maybe a recross. Okay? All right. Let's see. Holy shit. We played this already. Yeah, I have no idea why they're taking so many breaks, but who knows? It could be a bathroom break. This is outside the court.
Up, what's going to happen?
Wow. Mr. Smart. Short opening statements as a general matter are smart because
give me 1 second, chat.
You can't go up there and tell the jury everything you're going to prove over 8 weeks. You can't tell them every witness. You can't tell them every piece of evidence you're going to introduce. You can't discuss the law. You can't go over all the counts. You have to give them a general view of the case. And I thought from what I read, both the prosecution and the defense did that. I think an hour is perfect for an opening.
Well, let me also give you an update. Officially, Cassandra Ventura is back on the stand, so we're going to provide you updates and reports on her testimony as it continues. You have to imagine, I don't think I'm wrong by saying that this case rises and falls with her, right? She is the star witness. She is victim number one. There are going to be other alleged victims who testify, but if the jury says, I don't buy it, they're going to go into maybe looking at the other alleged victims a little differently, right? And plus, if they don't buy it and they believe maybe the other alleged victims, you said it before, you can't build a racketeering sex trafficking case on just one victim, or maybe you can. I don't know. I mean, you could, because they're individually charged. There's sex trafficking of victim one and sex trafficking of victim two.
She is the most important witness in the case from what I know, because you have the most serious allegations of his abuse of an individual person about her. And if the jury concluded that that was all nonsense, that she was a consensual participant in a relationship, it would very much undermine the prosecution.
Okay, first update from her back on the stand. Prosecutor asks, who is your manager at Bad Boy Records? And Cassandra Ventura says, James Cruz. What did he tell you? Ventura responds that he was managing me with one hand tied behind his back. He had to check everything with Sean. Why is that important?
Well, because Sean's the head of this alleged criminal enterprise. Everything flows through Sean Combs. So that's what they have to show.
Remember we talked about release of the sex tapes, the Freakoff tapes? So we put another poll up there. Should the public have access to trial footage and testimonies? What do you think? What do you think the percentage was?
Should they have access to trial?
Should the public have access to trial footage and testimonies? So I guess that includes everything.
North of 90%, yes.
That's correct. 91% say yes, 9% say no. I'll correct it. I didn't mean actually the videotapes per se, but access to trial footage and testimony. That's my audience. That's the audience we like to hear.
Well, the people who are on YouTube watching us
Yes.
want to see what's happening in the trial, for sure.
Rel asks, what if the hotel video is the only evidence the feds have? It's not the only evidence the feds have.
It's not.
Particularly because it's the Southern District of New York. They don't go against somebody like a Sean Combs unless they have the goods.
Yeah, I don't think this case would be tried in the fashion it's being tried unless the prosecutors were very sure that they had the evidence they needed.
Rachel Stockman, our president here at Law and Crime, has asked a question. Hi, Rachel. Since she is the key witness, do you think it's smart to put her on so early during the trial? I do. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think it was brilliant to not even start with her, but to start with the security guard, to start with the 2016 video, to start with this male performer. You build up her credibility. So when she takes the stand, the jury is a much more beneficial position to evaluate her testimony. It's, again, I go back to what I said. She filed her lawsuit in November of 2023. These were wild, unheard of allegations. You wondered, telling the truth, not telling the truth. As soon as that video came out, it not only corroborated one particular moment in her complaint, arguably corroborated her entire account. She is the star witness. I also think from a practical point of view, she's got to testify early before she gives birth. Right. Because the worst thing about not having victim number 3 is not having victim number 1 testify.
And I'll add one other thing. I'll add one other thing to that. So she's the star witness because of the allegations of what he did to her. She's also, I assume, the witness who's going to cover the broadest topic areas. Right? She was with him for 10 years. So she not only knows what happened to her, but she knows about him. She knows about his businesses. She knows about this alleged criminal enterprise. She knows about other predicate acts. And typically at trial, if you have a witness like that who really covers a large area of what you're trying to prove, you put them up sooner rather than later, because it doesn't make any sense to put on a lot of little witnesses and then bring in the big one.
I agree. Okay, so we have another update from court. Prosecutor asks Cassandra Ventura, how did you make money if your records weren't being released? Ventura responds, I did hosting parties when Sean approved them. What comments did Sean make about your physical appearance? That I look too Mexican with my hair like that. Now, this goes back to what was in the indictment. In the indictment, there was an allegation that Sean Combs controlled all aspects of her life. Her money, her career, her physical appearance. There's a
Is that fair, chat? Is that fair? Is it fair? Let me ask y'all a question. If you're with a significant other, if you say, oh, I like it when your hair is like this, or I like it when you wear this, I think usually when people are in a relationship, they mold to each other. Usually the man does things like, look at Travis Kelce. Depending on who he dating, you could definitely tell. Look, you ever seen that meme? Travis Kelce look before and after Taylor Swift. That boy, he looked different depending on who he was dating. Right? Like, come on. Come on. Like, yo, that's just what it is. So again, I mean, I don't know if that's like a fair thing to say, but I guess it is fair if Diddy was like, you know, saying you need to look like this. And I think the most damning thing, if I want to give that side any credit, is Diddy saying you got to work out for the Freakoffs. Training for the Freakoffs, the Freakoff training is crazy, right? But we've seen where people get with the new person and they rock a new look. Maybe that's what the person's into. Their kink is short hair or they whatever. Now, granted, it's being packaged differently here because Cassie's like, yo, this motherfucker was saying that he wanted me to, he was saying cut my hair because it was some career shit, but really that was just all about control shit. You get what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a question about medical records. Control is a central aspect of sex trafficking, and sex trafficking is one of the underlying crimes of racketeering, right? I mean, that seems to be the value of that testimony, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. He's directing how she appears. He's directing whether or not she can do hosting parties. He basically has to approve everything that she wants to do. That comment about her looking too Mexican is interesting because that comment is not really relevant to any of the allegations, and it's a little prejudicial depending on who's sitting on that jury because it paints him as maybe being a bit prejudiced.
Well, could the defense work with it and say, he's interested in helping your career, okay? He's managed a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
He was making a judgment, maybe racist or not, making a judgment about how to help you. He's a concerned boyfriend. He's a concerned
He's a
manager.
micromanager.
Right.
We concede. He's a micromanager. He's got his hand in everything. And, you know, if you think that's too much, so be it. But
Speaker
that
Tip said, yo, putting Cassie in the hyperbolic chamber for Freakoffs is crazy.
doesn't make him a racketeer.
Do you think the strength in numbers of the people who had worked with Sean Combs, if they testify, chiefs of staff, a chef, assistants, do you think that's going to help the prosecution or could it work to their disadvantage? You have so many people who are now coming out saying they're disgruntled, saying they saw issues, but why they keep on working with him? I wonder.
By the way, chat, we have a poll going on King Akademiks right now. Niggas is saying Diddy in 5. They're saying Diddy in 5. It's at 62% approval rate right now. Look at this. It's saying Diddy in 5. Look at this, Jay. We have a poll going. Look. Where's the poll? Right here. I don't want to vote. I guess I have to vote because I'm not logged in on the main account. Let's just vote yes. 62%. Yes, 62%. By the way, there's been 1,600 votes. It keeps running up. But Diddy in 5 is trending right now. Niggas think Diddy's going to beat the shit in 5. Hilarious. All right.
The strength in numbers argument with the people who were around him.
Yeah, I don't, you know, just from what we know about him and his business success, and really his success story obviously is getting sort of pushed aside because of this trial, but it's really remarkable what he built in terms of entertainment and in terms of business. And so he did have a lot of people working for him. A guy like that had a lot of people working for him. That doesn't make him a racketeer either. And it's interesting if the jury thinks those people show up at trial and they still like him. That could resonate with the jury.
Well, the defense didn't shy away from the fact you're probably not going to like this guy. I mean, they said it, and I kind of respect them for doing that. Doesn't mean it's a defense. Okay, another update from court. The prosecutor asks, how did he like your nails? And Ventura responds.
Again, I think that's also like, you're splitting hairs. Man, if you with a girl, every girl I've been with, like, they usually be like, hey, how do you like certain stuff? They're trying to appease you. They want to be the most attractive person for you. I don't know if that's necessarily controlling. You control every part of their life. But back to what I've said consistently. This is all about if you put everything in totality, like in a complete picture, it's going to look maybe sex trafficking, or it does look sex trafficking. Because if you look at these things isolated, you're like, wait, a dude wants his girl to look a certain way for him, or a dude feels like this look is better for her career. I don't know, right? I don't know if that's the thing that's, and I think, again, in isolation, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but this is where the prosecutor's job, which I do think is hard, you have to get the jury to sit back and be like, okay. And by the way, this is why RICO is charged. If you don't know like too much about the RICO charge, it's like a RICO charge has two things. You have predicate offenses and you have overt offenses, okay? Overt offenses aren't necessarily crimes. They are indicators that there was knowledge and there was action behind committing a crime, but those things aren't crime. For example, we finna go kidnap somebody. We plan to go do it. You go get the rope and the duct tape. You going to buy rope and duct tape, not a crime. However, it is proof that those acts are part of actionable things towards the conspiracy, right? The conspiracy of kidnapping, we needed duct tape and rope. You getting the rope and the duct tape, two things that you cannot be charged for, those are overt offenses. So what happens is you get like, they're kind of still trying to prove the RICO, but again, remember, when you look at RICO, you're going to see overt offenses, and in overt offenses, those things aren't crimes. So if you just look at just that, like, wait, he wanted his girl to paint her nails pink or white French tips, that's why y'all charge him a RICO? Yeah, no, but if you look at it as she couldn't do anything. By the way, they still haven't gotten to this part. Remember, we saw in the allegations for the civil lawsuit, they said that Cassie didn't have control of her life to the point that when she went to the medical facility and she was then diagnosed or whatever her medical report was with whatever she went, they gave her medical stuff to Diddy before they gave it to her. And that is going to be brought up. It's going to show the control. It's going to show how much Diddy. So, and that's her thing. I had no choice in the matter. And even if you think I did have a choice, I was doing it for him. So she's coming off like I didn't make a decision that was for me. Now the prosecutor's going to really, pinpoint a few things to say, so wait, when Diddy walked out of the room after you said he was mean to you and he slapped you up or whatever, you fucked that guy for Diddy, but he wasn't there, right? Or did you fuck that person for you? So they're going to try to establish that Cassie was really coherent and it wasn't her being bullied or threats of like financial whatever. She wanted to do these things, but the prosecutor's laying it out that she didn't know she couldn't make a decision to save her life. It was all to make Diddy happy. I think that's a hard sell. Really hard sell if you ask me.
White, French tipped. Prosecutor asks hair. It varied. I shaved my head in 2009.
Okay. We're still waiting for them to come back from this break. This should be the last break until, the end of the day. We will see.
What about your body? He told me to work out, prepare for the Freakoffs. How did you feel about his comments? It varied. So, mixed bag there about...
I seen someone said a comment. This is in the King Akademiks chat. By the way, if you guys want me to definitely see your comments, just send a super chat or something like that. 205 Rider says, didn't she sign an NDA when she took that money? Yes, most NDAs typically come with signing a non-disclosure agreement. However, a non-disclosure agreement goes out the window when you're in a criminal case. So could Cassie, if this is normal, by the way, remember Diddy was under duress. He settled that case in less than a day after it became public. We're still expected to think that there's going to be NDAs that were signed, so maybe Cassie can't go on and do 15 interviews about this or make a movie about this or write another book about this or whatever the fuck she might plan to do on a civil side. However, no NDA stands up to the legal justice system, and usually those are one of the first things that get thrown out. So yeah, for example, I got an NDA. You come to my house, you sign an NDA, right? If you see me murder somebody, you can't, and the cop said, you were at Axe house, you see him murder someone, you're like, oh, he had me sign an NDA. No, that's just out the window. Like, you're going to sing like a Tweety Bird. You know what I'm saying? So NDAs do not prevent someone from speaking in any capacity about a criminal act. It prevents them from profiting, prevents them from going on blogs, news outlets, interviews from third party. You tell your friend for them to say. It protects you there, but if there's a criminal investigation, you have zero protection from an NDA because the government or the state or whatever investigating body, they don't respect those things. You get what I'm saying? And in any NDA, any proper NDA will tell you the only way you could say what you have seen, either at this crib or at this job, because sometimes many places, many jobs or many like buildings, for example, Complex, when they moved to the new building, they had an NDA for everybody who signed, for everybody who came in the building. Why? Because they were developing new things. They didn't want people to come through, peek into a room, see a show they had, and run back and tell everybody or whatever the case is. So they had people sign NDAs. Now, if there was ever an investigation by the government, yeah, that's just out the window, bro. Now, a proper NDA is going to tell you the only time you can speak on this is if you are inquiried through a official government body or investigating agency, which is law enforcement. Okay?
What to take away from that?
A sleazy NDA is going to act like you could never speak on it. But if you hire a lawyer, your lawyer is going to say, yes, you're allowed to speak, despite no matter what NDA.
I think, talking about preparing for the Freakoff.
Compa Jam, thank you, my brother. I see you in the chat. He says, man, stop the cat, bro. Cassie ain't no goddamn victim. She's a volunteer. Freak the Gemini. He says, Diddy made her rub the guy's nut on his nipples. Where did you get that from? What? Is that in the tweets? We ain't get to that yet. What? Oh, read the new tweets? Oh, shit. Okay, all right. Tell me to shut the fuck up then. Y'all niggas is mean. Okay, here we go. All right, Cassie is back. Oh, wow. So I'm late. So you may continue. It says, when the drugs ran out, how did you know who to reach out to? Ventura said Sean would tell me who to reach out to. AUSA says, during the session, how do you know how to move to the next step? She said, Sean. AUSA says, what happened after the escort finished on you? Ventura says, Sean would want it to put on his butt. Oh, nah. Diddy is gay. Diddy, you gay as fuck. This is up there with Kanye sucking his cousin's dick. Oh, my God. Diddy would have a nigga nut on his bitch and tell his bitch, bring that nut over here and come rub it on me. Lather me up in that semen. Lather me up in that seminal fluid. What? Hey, memes, get me this. Oh, hell nah. Hell to the no-no. What the fuck? This the wildest shit I ever seen. What? Hold on. Nah, this is crazy, chat. Diddy is Diddy gay. Diddy gay. I'm writing a caption for Instagram right now. Diddy would request that after the sex worker nutted, this is how you know I'm really typing this shit, nutted on Cassie, that she would come and rub the semen on his body in the next room, on his nipples. Not this whole time. And he used this poor little girl. He used this poor little girl to get his rocks off because he was a bitch ass nigga who did. Yo, if you want to suck a cock and taste semen and rub it on your nipples, leave the young girl out of it. Just go suck a cock. Yo, this is why I can't respect these niggas from the 90s. Mitty Batiman wanted to taste and have semen on his body. But instead of just soliciting it himself, he tried to use this girl. Come on, the picture is there. I see why this shit is up here. Diddy, you gay, gang. Nah, this is crazy. I thought Diddy was going to beat this in 5. Hopefully beat this shit in 7 for y'all niggas. Because right now, this is like last night's game with the Celtics and the Knicks. I thought, okay, Knicks, y'all cooked. They about to tie this up 2-2. I look up, it's 3-1 Knicks. Celtics is cooked. I thought Diddy in 5 was going good. Hell nah, nigga. Diddy better try to beat this shit at 7. We're finding out his true nature now. Diddy gay as a motherfucker. How did you feel I was an object being heavily objectified by men? That I told y'all, when I read that part, it didn't sound right. Wait, you're having random men fuck your girl that you love, that you might want to start a family with on her period? She's laying down on the ground, spread out with her mouth open, and y'all are taking turns peeing in her mouth? You're checking the niggas? Like, you're questioning him like, yo, bro, you sure you nutted, bro? Now we realize why he's questioning if the nigga nutted. Because he's like, where's the nut at? I can't rub it on me. He probably brought Cassie in the room and said, all right, Cassie, put that nut all on me. Rub it on my nipples, girl. Come on, just lather me up in semen. And she said, baby, I don't got no male nut in me. I just got pussy juice. I don't want no fucking pussy juice. Go get the nigga. We need nut. Now this nigga's gay. Diddy's gay. We finally got proof. It's over. We finally got proof. Diddy gay. Diddy's gay. Now, I'm saying all this. I'm just making to just, I don't know if he was sex trafficking, but intercontinental thing. Remember, this was what I was gonna pull up. So, I want to leave this page up. Sorry. Here we go. Cassie. Here we go. Cassie interview day after. So remember, we just kind of played it low key. Her day after the beating. The day after the hotel video. This was it, right? So
that is actually interesting too.
Interesting.
So essentially, she's saying they asked, have you ever left before a freak off was over? So she's saying that was a freak off happening. She said, yes, I left it. It was at the Century City Intercontinental Hotel, the place where the assault happened. She said, I finally had a premiere coming up, and I didn't want to mess it up. But Sean hit me. She said, at what point did Sean hit you? She said, between sessions. So Diddy was waiting in between sessions, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Remember, they clarified. By the way, one thing about lawyers, they always try to sequence shit. Remember what a session is. A session is until the sex worker came. Remember how they said it went down. Every time, for the most part, at least Philip, who seems to be the sex worker that was in this, Diddy would watch Cassie get fucked until the guy came. When the guy came, Diddy and Cassie would go in the other room. Cassie has now let us know what they were doing in the other room. She was scooping the nut, because a lot of times he would instruct the nigga to nut in her pussy. I'm sorry for all the crass language, but it is what it is. This is a freak-ass case. He would instruct the guy to ejaculate in her. Now we're finding out she would scoop the nut out of her pussy and put it on his nipples in the next room. And the sex worker would be just sitting there like, okay, what are we doing? And after a while, they would come back in and be like, oh, we're going again. Or they'd be like, they'll invite him into the room. That's how it was going down. So y'all get the understanding of what's going on. So apparently, this is after she done lather this nigga areolas and nipples with motherfucking male semen. Diddy, for whatever reason, hits her, okay? AUSA says, what happens next? I got to the elevator. Next thing I know, I was thrown to the ground. So they're talking about this footage. Who threw you to the ground? Sean. He grabbed me by the neck in my hoodie, okay? The AUSA says, let me show you the video. Now I'm going to play y'all the video because we got to. Hotel video, Diddy. Yo, Diddy, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think your PR fucked up. You should have admitted that you're gay a long time ago, because you know how in the court of public opinion, we're so shocked that you're fucking homosexual that we don't even want to react to nothing else. Just like how y'all admitted to you beating her to take the sting off of that people could focus on the charges. Now we're like, wait, Diddy's gay? He got semen being rubbed on his body? It's fucked up the entire thing. So now they're playing this video. Here's the video.
We're going to begin tonight.
Here we go.
Telling
most defendants
sitting, what's in a towel.
Expect most defendants
on day one.
Oh, here we go.
As a fight over a phone. The team acknowledged Combs does have a temper, but pointed out, quote, there was domestic violence, but that is not sex trafficking. As for the so-called freak-offs or Wild King nights, allegedly drug-filled sex parties that went on for days, Combs' attorneys downplayed them, saying their client led a swingers lifestyle, that the gatherings were consensual threesomes. And we do expect to see Cassie Ventura on the stand. It'll be the first time she comes face-to-face with Combs since 2018 when Ventura attended Kim Porter's funeral. Porter was Combs' ex and the mother of 4 of their children. Testimony, we understand, has wrapped.
Look at how much people are behind there. Okay, so cool. So she says he grabbed me by my neck and my hoodie, and then they play the video we just kind of saw in part. Do I need to play the whole video? I think we've seen it a bunch of times. The AUSA says, what are you doing? She says, trying to use the hotel phone. What is Sean doing? He's taking my bag and my phone. And the judge says, we're going to break for the day. Chat, that is so explosive. I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Diddy's team, I thought it was going fairly decent because there was a lot of things that she threw out there that Diddy's team was going to be able to body her with. This idea of Diddy, and again, I know. Yeah, some of y'all gonna be like, oh, no, it's only homophobic people that are gonna care that he's gay. We don't care that he's gay. We only care about, we get it. But this is playing out in the media as well. That one detail just overshadowed the fact that I don't think Cassie did that well today. I don't think she did. I think Cassie sowed a lot of seeds to say, she said, oh, I kept doing the freak-offs because I didn't want him to do it to someone else. She sowed the seeds to say, I wasn't trying to lose this nigga. But that little tidbit right there is going to be over all the blogs. That's going to be the main thing. That one salacious detail. That's the problem for Diddy. The salacious detail. Granted, who cares if he's gay? But again, this was always a speculation, so it's a big deal. It's oh shit, Diddy's gay. Diddy like semen rubbed on his body. That shit right there is going to cloud the judgment not only of people on social media, people in the press, but who knows? It might affect the jury to be like, oh, this was a gay man who used a young, impressionable, financially dependent woman and used her as a sex object to get his rocks off, not about her, about the men, the niggas that he wanted to fuck but was too scared to fuck by himself. I'm not gonna lie to you, chat. They threw in a monkey wrench, and by the way, think about it. The judge is broke for the day. We're done until tomorrow. It is a strategy among defense attorneys, among prosecutors. You like to end each day, especially with a big witness, and we do think this is a key witness. You drop that bomb, walk out the room. Now everybody got to deal with it. Pink Trophy Media, what's up? Lizzie, what up? Now, I know some of y'all are saying, are you making too much about it? This is him being gay shit. I get it. You're right. All right, you're right. But remember, he's being judged by his peers. He's being judged by his peers. And also, we didn't hear anything about them trying to carve out anything about his sexuality. They're only trying to say he was a swinger. But what I do know, and I'm going to tell you why I do know this, because there's somebody working for Diddy's team. I don't even want to say her name, but she's working with Mark Garagos and Tenny Garagos. They hit me. They gave me their cell phone number. They said, we in court every day. Hit us. We're the PR people for Diddy. We'll give you the accurate information, blah, blah. They do care about what the media is reporting because they do know in a general overall sense, they want this to look or be covered like this is a farce. This is made up after this woman got salty that she left the bag, Diddy, got with a broke nigga, threatened to sue him. She shook him down because he was scared about his reputation being blown up. So he paid her some bread. And then the feds, they were just hella thirsty and came in and took this. And now they're charging with a RICO, which is not only an overcharge, but they're going off of a civil case, which the woman had incentive because she was broke. That's their angle. That's what they want to be covered. I'm telling you the truth. I have his PR person's number in my phone. They say they're in court. They said, just text us. We'll send you anything that we could send you. And I'm like, all right, but I understand it's PR for Diddy. What the AUSA did is drop a little piece of gossip or whatever you want to call it. Hey, Diddy's gay. So now that you know Diddy's gay, maybe you think about this differently, that maybe he wasn't even interested in this woman at all. Now, keep in mind, this is where this is going to get interesting. I got to read a little bit more about this, but think about Andrew Tate. And I hate to bring Andrew Tate in this, but it makes sense. Andrew Tate's charged with sex trafficking in Romania because they claim he used what's called the lover boy method. It's a basic way of manipulation where you pretend to be in love with someone, and because they're acting on this false pretense that you love them or you're romantically trying to court them for further relationships, this and third, they do things that are either unbecoming or things that they necessarily don't want to do. After realizing that you're doing this in a surreptitious or you're doing this in a fake fraudulent way, that becomes kind of sex trafficking. So the lover boy method is one thing. I think what this brings up, again, I'm not on the jury, but what this then now contextualizes the whole Diddy case to me is that Diddy wanted dick. Diddy ain't want no pussy. He wanted dick. Diddy wanted dick. He was really insecure about his sexuality. We hear about the sex worker who was fucking Cassie, looks back at Diddy, and Diddy gets in a verbal, I don't know if it was physical, argument with the guy to say, stop looking at me. So how could you be that offended if your kink is just being a cuck? That the man looks at you. However, when he ejaculates on your woman, you and her go to a private room where she lathers you in the guy's semen. Diddy was probably gay. Not probably, he is gay. Diddy's a homosexual man who could now be seen to be using this woman as a beard. Like, people have heard that about, these undercover gay men. Like, we had a governor in Jersey named Jim McGreevy or something McGreevy. Nigga was gay as shit. He had a family, because most politicians don't get elected unless you got a wife or some type of, you look like you got a family structure. Bachelors usually don't get elected. He had a wife, had kids. It came out later that he was gay. So his wife was what they call a beard. It's a cover up. You get what I'm saying? So it's possible to believe that Diddy was using Cassie as a beard. Diddy liked cock. He loves semen. Okay? And in him liking these things and to protect his public image, he acted like he was a cuck. Like, oh no, I'll sit back here while you fuck my girl. Don't look at me though. Who is he jerking off looking at? Chat, let me ask y'all a question. In light of this, who y'all think Diddy was jerking off looking at? Cassie or the man? Now, granted, I believe the best strategy is for Diddy to admit his sexuality. You have to admit your sexuality. Because even if you're undercover gay, even if you's a bati boy, it doesn't mean you're a sex trafficker. There is no charge for you to be gay. There is a charge for you to sex traffic. Now, it could be looked at. You're gay and you're using her sexually to get what you want sexually out of men. That's sex trafficking. That is. Now, if you establish yeah, I'm bisexual, I'm gay, whatever. However, I'm just kinky. That's different. But if Diddy's team ignores this idea that he's homosexual, I think Diddy's going to jail. Cassie has dropped the bomb. She took the pin out of the grenade. She dropped it in the room. She's walked out. We're going to sit on this for a day until tomorrow. Diddy has to explain. His defense has to explain. Were you using this woman as a conduit for you to get to the men? If that's the case, you deceived her because she was In her mind, she thought she was going to have a family with you. She was going to marry you. You deceived her, and under the pretense that you were, number one, straight, number two, going to marry her, number three, really interested in her, which I think he was interested in her. You're deceiving her and using her as an object to get what you want in a very low-key way. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. After I just heard that, first person Instagram I got to go to. What he done say? He ain't say nothing? Shit. Chat, I am going to lie to you.